time. So I'm your host this morning, Dominic, your only host. Miss Felix will not be here this morning because, as you know, the PNM's Women League would have had an event yesterday of which she would have played an integral part. So we were supposed to have had an interview this morning with Miss Olivia Springer, as you all are aware, because we would have touched base with her on Friday, but unfortunately that will not be taking place this morning. Sharon has not been able to make contact with Miss Springer subsequently. So if Miss Springer is listening and she's still interested in having the interview, she can feel free to call us at 342-0081 or 466-5391, or she can call Sharon and we can always do it over the phone. I don't know if perhaps it may have been that she probably had a little cold feet, didn't want to be on camera, but we can do it over the phone. So if she's amenable to that, you can give us a call because we would really, really love to hear your side of this story. So let me say good morning to all of you, to those of you who are making your way to church, to those of you who are sitting around the kitchen table having your morning coffee, having your breakfast. Good morning to Mr. and Mrs. Giuseppe. If you're in your hammock or wherever it is that you're taking us and you're on your way to the grocery, to the market, good morning to all of you. So it's usually at this time we would open the lines to take your calls, to allow you to send your good morning greetings to whomever you may wish. So we will do so now. And until the 10 o'clock hour. So I see we have a call already. Hello, good morning.
A glorious Sunday morning to you, Dominic.
Good morning, good morning.
How are you?
I am good, can't complain.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Good morning to Sharon. I know she wasn't going to be able to come in this morning because I know they had a PNM thing, the Women's League. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to my family. And good morning to Remy. This morning to the Most High God, the one who governs my life, the one who is the author and finisher of my life. I want to thank him for allowing us to see another day. Praise, thanks, honor, and glory unto his name this morning. This morning, a charge to keep I have, and a God to glorify, and ever dying soul to save. One day I will be fitted for the sky. Good morning to Sister Steely, Leader George and his wife. A blessed good morning to Miss Angie, Miss New Village, Miss Thomas. Good morning to the both Carols. And good morning to Mommy Sauce. Mommy Sauce, a special morning goes out to you. And everybody else, Miss Toronto, good morning. Dominic, I'm listening to you. I know we will have a proper and a nice show this morning. I'm sending out blessings because I know it will be good this morning. Anyhow, I'm listening until I'm ready to go in the house of God. Thanks for the opportunity. Later.
No problem. Right, so we continue to take your calls at 342-0081, 466-5391. And again, if Ms. Springer or anybody who knows her is listening and she is still amenable to doing the interview this morning, please feel free to give us a call. We would be happy to have you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dominic.
Mano.
Yes, good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. I can't tell Sharon morning because she's sleeping. She can't hear a word of what she's there right now. Good morning to everybody. Google, Bruce, everybody. Good morning to Mami Sauce. Good morning to Passy Street. Good morning to Mr. Napuna. Dinner time to wake up. Good morning to Vero. Good morning to the people of Bonnet Garden. Hey, let me say good morning to Jackie and Jackie. Miss Friday, good morning to you. Good morning to, let me see, forget Miss Gloria, good morning to you. Miss Faizabad, good morning. Miss Toronto, Oman Oga, good morning. Let me see, there's a whole lot of them, but I have to put a list. One is this, Gemma and her husband out there in Florida. Good morning. Claudette and Jenny in Florida out there. Good morning. to the people of Bonnet Garden and Mount Hope. Good morning to my girlfriend. Good morning to you and your family. Good morning to everybody. Hey, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Boy, I don't know what to say about these people, you know, boy. I want to study politics early. But I don't know what to say about them. They have nothing to say, nothing good to do. They can't find nothing to topic on, nothing at all. Mr. Oh, he named the fella from in the bush up there who had to ride donkey. I mean, Kingsley. The fella who ride, well, Kingsley, she named donkey. No fatigue fair, brother, but that's the way of the on a song like that. But Mr. Abba, keep the ride.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. So, love is the answer. Do something good for somebody today. Send some love to somebody and be genuine about it. Give them something and don't look back for anything. It will come back to you as a boomerang when you need it. Give those who need and not those who want. Those who want that thing in a cupboard hiding and they ain't using it. So those who need, give it to them. Thank you. Love is the answer. Good morning, Mr. Iwer George. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mano. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Dominic. Good morning, Dominic.
Morning.
And how are you?
I am good.
I enjoy your show for the whole week. This week on. It was very,
Thank you.
I enjoy you, Sharon, and friends. I just say good morning to you. Good morning to Sharon, wherever she is today. Good morning to Mr. Chan, Jerry, Mr. Napuna, Mami Sauce, Steve South, and well, I go say long as Manu. And all the rest of callers on this radio station and staff and management of 91.9. Good morning to each and every one of you all. And Dominic, when you are finished, I want you to reach back home safely, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good Dominic.
Yes, ma'am.
Dean.
Huh?
How is Dean?
Dean is very, very good, actually.
Okay. Well, good morning to him. So Dominic, you have a blessed day.
You too. Thanks. Hello, good morning.
Dominic, good morning to you, my dear.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Dominic?
I am very good.
Okay, good morning to the whole of Trinbago. Dominic, I'm very much concerned, and I know you're going to speak about it today. I'm sure there's one topic you're going to speak about after I get off the air. 27 billion in suspicious transactions, Dominic. I'm very much concerned, Dominic. Dominic is wasn't you in Trinidad and Tobago when he went abroad. Is he in Trinidad and Tobago still?
I believe so.
Oh my goodness, I'm not hearing him at all. I realize like he gone silent. I don't know what caused him to go silent, but I'm not hearing him. But as I said to you, I am very much concerned about 27 billion in suspicious transactions. Dominic, I'm going to call back in. Have a good one.
You too. So let's see here. Hello, good morning.
Hey, I forget 1285. See, I have to make a list. Good morning, 1285. I'm the whole family. And it's not Watson Duke. It's Weary Donkey. Weary Donkey is tired. Nobody can see him again. Mr. Watson Duke, what you're supposed to do is to go in front of the Prime Minister and tell him that you're sorry for everything you have done because you are just pulling down the country. You have nothing else to say, pushing somebody else in front. And the person you're pushing in front, like the tie their eye, they can't see that you doing wrong things in this country. We want to build a good country for when the gates are open, so people will come to this country. Right now, nobody is saying to come here, what they say, what's in Dubai? WD? Anyway, love again to everybody who didn't call. Love again to everybody. I'm gone.
Thank you, Manu. Yes, so we continue to take your calls, folks, at 3420081, 4665391. Good morning to Mother Tunapuna. Good morning to Mr. and Mrs. Woody out there in Arima. Let me see. Hello, good morning.
Blessed morning to you, Dominic.
Morning, sir.
Morning, TNT. And by extension, the titans of democracy. I want to know what's going on with this damn fact. What is really wrong with this lady? This pest wasting taxpayers' money, drawing taxpayers' money under false pretense, right into the Prime Minister of India. Miss Disrespectful, Miss Yellows. I tell you, these people never ever loved Trinidad and Tobago. They already distressed the Treasury. We'll oppose every legislation come to the in Parliament. What they really want, they divide the country. And this is Satmarat get fed up a shit. Drink where you want, where you want, eat where you want, go where you want, say where you want. She hamburg Mr. Pandey and disrespect this country. Fall down in the mandra. And we have to be tolerating this. Something has to be done. Like prayers can help she go on place. I'm really fed up with him. But this hate after hate after hate. But I locked on as usual.
Thank
Morning to everybody. To call name, oh gosh, it's going to be too much. You know, man, I'm going to be so scared. Miss Carol, I mean everybody. Titans morning up. God for the hour. Locked on as usual.
Yes, sir. Hello, good morning.
What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and grief to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Good morning to my tall, dark, handsome son.
Morning.
Greetings and blessings to you and your family. And give my love to my dear son, Dane Francois, please.
Yes, I will.
Good morning, Sharon and your family over the girl. I know you're tired. Angie, good morning. Angie tired too. Mm-hmm. Good morning, Manu. Morning, Mr. Chance. Morning, Jen. Morning, Miss Thomas. Morning, Miss Monica. Oh, Lord. Please. Gloria, I meant to say it. You got Monica in the name of the Lord. You know, the people that say they love you, Dominic.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. It was so feeling. And it was cabal. And it's so long. But that God is good. You know, that is why I said what a friend to have in Jesus. Because there's no failure in God, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All his failure is in us. You know, but God is good. I love the Lord because I know he loves me. And good morning to the world and everybody. Have a blessed day. I love you and I love you. And I'm going to start the pot. I could put in today. I put in everything in the oven and I'll put it up and see what I do today. All right?
Yes.
Opening today. Okay, darling. Love you all the time.
Okay. You too. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Duke, you know he playing revolutionists, right? And he feels Tobagonians will be behind him. But Tobagonians should be the start to realize. While it's for a long time now, little boy Tobago, I used to call him Major Overheater. But he get cold just now because you were really sick when you were that child. So thank you. Let's see people will back him. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, so we still have another 10 minutes or so for which we can take your call. So feel free, 342-0081, 466-5391. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Dominic.
Morning.
How are you, dear?
I am good, and yourself?
I good to myself, inside. I want to say morning to the Tiger, Anne-Marie, Marva, Shak Lady, and all the rest of the Tiger. I can't remember all everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But blessing, and God bless us, and have a nice day.
You too.
Okay? All right, darling. Thanks.
All right. Right. So, yeah, the lines are open, people. Come on, wake up, wake up. Good morning to Zina. Good morning to Miss New Village, our regulars. Okay, what happened there? Right, so again, I'm sending out a call to Miss Springer. We would really, and all of our listeners were waiting with bated breath to interview with you this morning. So please, if you're listening, and or if anybody who knows her is listening, can let her know that we are still open to having that interview with her this morning. She can either call into the station or she can call Sharon. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dominic.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am good, and yourself?
Well, I just called to say morning. You know, you don't get into this program. No, the morning program.
Right.
So I just want to say have a blessed day.
Thank you.
I hope you and Sharon would really bring on. I mean, it's just a request.
Yes.
Because I'm concerned how some people are complaining and again, I know you into accountant.
Yes.
Right. So you can help people account for their money or use it wisely, you know, account for it wisely as well. So we can have some other, you know, you can have some, you call these people economists.
Yes.
Or, you bring them on your program and, you let people see what's really going on in the society, because a lot of people don't understand. They have money, they say they don't have money.
Yes.
But they call a lot. They probably have certain assets which they probably don't need, or they buy things that they don't need. You just help people use their money wisely. I'm concerned about people in Laventille who talk about not having anything, not giving anything, and they have given a lot. They live on land that is so valuable.
Yes.
And if you look, and they should look at the bamboo, how the bamboo was before, and the development there, and you don't see anybody going and rob their fellow men or their grocery or their businesses.
Correct.
And yesterday where was I going? Oh, shucks, somewhere. And I look at the same thing, right? Because they complain about all these people, they bad talk them, yet still they want to be employed from them, they want to buy their product, and you see African people too have to stop preaching hate, right?
Yes.
Preach, talk about money development, like the gentleman in Moban would say, money. Talk about wealth, right? Stop talking and looking at what other people doing or what they're achieving. You do it.
Yes.
And stop getting your children to rob other people or rob themselves or kill themselves. And you cannot afford a car, walk. You understand? You don't need to go to certain places, because when you go there, you cannot get out. And you know what I mean, Dominic?
Yes.
I'm going to a remote thing, meaning an organization. When you get yourself involved with them, you cannot get out. So, so maybe, you can show people that if you cannot buy a whole loaf of bread, but you can buy a small bread.
Right.
And be successful. You don't have to look over your shoulder and so on. So have a pleasant day.
You too.
Take care.
So we will definitely I'll have a chat with Sharon, and we'll definitely look into that, because there are a lot of people who are making requests for it. Hello, good morning.
Hey, morning, brother Dominic.
Hey, boss, morning.
Yes, man. How long with your Sharon? She's not coming in this morning?
No, she's not.
And the interview with the young lady, she's really tough.
Well, I don't know. Sharon called me this morning and she told me she's been trying to get onto her, but without any success. So I don't know if perhaps she had cold feet. But I'm sending out an appeal, if it is she's listening, or anybody who's listening who knows her, to let her know we could always do the interview over the phone.
Over the phone, what's her name?
Olivia Springer.
Springer, sweetie, is nothing to feel bad about, sweetheart. I went through my legal issues in the court with a civil matter, and up to today, about 30 friends told me that I should appeal the matter. So nothing to feel, bad about, sweetheart. It is a learning experience to everyone. Your knowledge might impact on at least one person's life, Dominic. So sweetheart, I hope you come through with the interview. People will be there for you. The callers are 911 and the family at 911 will be there for you. There's nothing. Forget Trinidadians and small talk. We like a lot of small talk and old talk and pull down and all of that because love has no bounds. So the same people who be criticizing you and pulling you down, sweetheart, I hope you're listening. They are no better and no different. They go on, most of them go on do the same things. There's nothing to feel bad about. And I think you should take up this interview. You know what I mean? I really hope you come forward. Dominic, I went to extra food yesterday. What you always advertising here, the 20 for 20 special. Right. And I had a customer thing done. I went to his branch, I went in, and the supervisor was really nice to me. Was an Indian supervisor, a lady, and she was real sweet to me. She dressed my cut and she plastered it for me. And I show people, Dominic, a friend has always tell me, whatever energy you put out, design the energy you'll get back. If you pour out hate, as the last lady said, you'll get back that. You know what I mean? So we gotta live with love at the end of the day. As I told people, I'd rather be racist to be black culture. You understand what I say? That was brought up with love. At the end of the day, Dominic, we are just human beings. No matter the race we are just another human being. And you grew up with all. So okay, Dominic, I see you as a conscious black brother. You went to school in Saint. When you go Saint, all inclusive fete in St. Mary's Ground, and you bounce up all your white boy partners and Syrian brethren and Indian brethren. You don't share a drink with them and talk about old times and talk and that, and they look out for you. Yeah, because all they glad to see one of them after all the years. They want to find a way of doing and any way they could help you. Understand that? Because at the end of the day, we are all Trinis and it's a love. We are all Saints boys. So at the end of the day, people don't understand we live in Trinidad and Tobago. And if yeah, very good talk. Yes, yeah, come on.
Oh, yeah. Stop killing we African people. Stop killing we Africans. Stop killing me. Cause we tired of this racism. Stop killing we African people. Stop killing we Africans. Stop killing me. Cause we tired, yes we tired. But I got this put a helping hand. Tell me why they do not like the Africans. But I God, I don't know what they did to them. Every day they killing African children. So I want to know why they kill it. And the police to kill it. And the army kill it. Politicians to kill it. But I got this answer, we kill it. CIA want to kill it. KKK want to kill it. Racist skinheads to kill it. Africans, we have to unite. Build black business and treat each other right. Spend your money in black community. Only then they will have respect for we. Over 400 years we suffering. We survived the torture, burning, rapes, hangings. Cities burning up, the whole world protesting. Black people tired of hate and racism. So I ask again why they kill we. Send the police to kill we. And the army kill we. Politicians to kill we. But I got this answer, we kill we. HIV me to kill we. COVID-19 to kill we. Ebola me to kill we. Africans, we have to unite. Build black business and treat each other right. Spend your money in black communities. Only then they will have respect for we. Police kill just right for the world to see. Police criminals in black communities. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King they kill. Black lives matter, black people are dying still. So I ask again why they kill we. Send the police to kill we. And the army kill we. Politicians to kill we. But I got this answer, we kill we. Vaccinations to kill we. Jim Crow laws they to kill we. Bill Gates he want to kill we. Africans we have to unite. Build black business and treat each other right. Spend your money in black communities. Only then they will have respect for we. Black people we must unite. Stop killing each other and unite. Demand that they should be right. Respect we Africans should be right. Black people, we must unite. Stop killing each other and unite. Demand that it should be right. Respect we Africans should be right. Black people, we must unite. Stop killing each other and unite. Demand that it should be right. Respect we Africans should be right. Black people, we must unite. Stop killing each other and unite. Demand that it should be right. Respect we Africans should be right.
This is Wayne Delamore, Head Consultant and Director of Natural Health Solution. With over 15 years of experience in clinical nutrition and microscopy, we specialize in early detection and prevention. We incorporate evidence-based nutrition and science-driven analysis. Tune in to our educational program every Wednesday at 9:05 to 9:55 a.m. right here on the street 91.9 FM. For appointments, call 222-2189 or 304-5816. At Natural Health Solutions, we offer a natural solution to healthy living.
Are you tired of going place to place with no real solutions for your health concerns? Look no further and let our team at Louis Herbal Health Clinic take care of you with our amazing specials. Now offering iridology scanning, where we utilize a microscopic camera to detect hypertension, liver damage, a weakened immune system, and so much more issues in the body through the eyes. Iridology scanning is 100% safe and pain-free. Also available is our advanced 3D head-to-toe body scanning using the biophilia tracker, a one-of-a-kind radiation-free device used to detect all chronic diseases, disorders, and inflammation in the body in just under 1 hour. Free consultation with any service and the same-day results available. We are located on number 18 Parakeet Street, Tacarigua. To book, call or WhatsApp Shanice today at 278-1661 or find us on Facebook at Louis Herbal TT for more information.
When you text on the street 919 FM, you can win weekly fabulous prizes. Text to win. Using your B-Mobile or Digicel handset, text your name to 9191, which allows you to win. One winner will be selected every Friday at 5 p.m. Listen, text, and win. You can also view live streams on Facebook at The Street 919 FM and YouTube at The Street 919 FM. Text to win on The Street 919 FM.
The Archdiocese of the West Indian United Spiritual Baptist Sacred Order, Inc., with Bishop Patrick Roberts and the New Jerusalem Church of Jesus Christ. He and his diocese would be on IWER stage on Wednesday, the 10th of March, 2021, from 6 p.m. This is the 70th anniversary of the repeal of the Draconia Prohibition Ordinance of 1917, and the theme is Fulfilling Our Spiritual Liberation. His Eminence Patriarch Dr. Stephen F. Julian, His Grace Archbishop W. Leon John, and King Shepherd Ray M.S. Brathwaite.
Granny, but what the maracas be?
Where you hustling up to? This is the beach. You're supposed to be relaxing.
Well, I'm going to get some bacon shark.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, me and my boy, yeah.
Just remember, it's still have COVID out there. Beach or no beach? Yeah. Hey, you wash your hands? And where's your mask? You know what? 10 things to remember when you're by the beach. If you're sick, stay home. Wear a mask. Oh, social distance, remember, 6 feet. Avoid large crowds. Yes. Oh, remember, don't socialize with people you don't live with. When you're going to buy your food, by the food vendors, make sure that they have the badge, the mask on, and the gloves. Oh, and make sure that they have somewhere that you can wash your hands and sanitize. Do not be sharing beach toys with people you don't live with, all right? Like your beach balls and your frisbees. Stop it. And when you go to buy your little bacon sharks, take it and go outside and eat. Do not eat it in the enclosed areas. Oh, and the final and last thing, enjoy yourself. Yes, enjoy.
Thank you, Granny. Oh, say, your body line. Oh, yeah.
We
care for your eyes. That's why Value Optical recommends world-leading transitions lenses that protect your eyes from blue light and 100% of UV rays. They automatically adapt to changing light conditions, making life simpler and more comfortable for your eyes every day. Now available in 4 new style colors for you to personalize any frame and express your style. Value Optical, caring for your eyes.
Hi, Trinidad and Tobago. This is yours truly, Pastor Charles, streaming live from Port of Spain, Trinidad, Marvel Road, 91.9. Every Wednesday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning. I tell you, we are going to have a T-I-M-E time in the presence of God. We will be praying, praise God, for our nation. We'll be praying for families. We'll be praying for those that are sick and those that are in need. Tune in to the best station, 91.5 FM, Street Live, Port of Spain, Marava.
Tikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MCD, and every Monday between the hours of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Sheet 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in every Monday between the hours of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for Orisha, The Way of Life.
Royal Castle happily presents our New Year giveaway. When you buy a family meal, you could be in to win some happiness. A kitchen appliance combo of a new stove, fridge, and microwave. Whoa! A living room set, a washer-dryer combo, or a dining room set. Other goodies include Samsung Smart TVs, grocery vouchers, or one of 20 tablets. Just write your info on your bill and slip it into the entry box in store. It's easy to win with our New Year giveaway.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio.
The Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center of number 399 Eastern Main Road, Waiko in Sangre Grande is pleased to present Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson and guests on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. On Sundays, Ministry of Worship, Children's Hour, and the Word. Tuesdays, see Jesus in every book of the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation. On Wednesdays, we deal with current affairs from a biblical perspective. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell everyone. For further information, visit us at www.churchofthefirstbornassembly.org. Facebook, email us at church668hope@gmail.com or call at 753-1113 or 239-7271. Your free will gifts and offerings will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222 at the First Citizens Bank.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying locked to the Street 919 FM. So as I would have indicated earlier, we were supposed to be having the interview this morning with Miss Olivia Springer. For those of you who are just joining us, that's the young lady who we would have spoken about on Friday with respect to that court matter, where the judge would have denied her request to access certain property, which would have been acquired as a result of a relationship that she would have been in. But Sharon was liaising with her for us to have the interview, but Sharon said that she's not been able to get in contact with her to confirm, so as I would have indicated before, if Ms. Springer is listening, or anybody who knows Ms. Springer is listening, and if it is a case that she didn't want to be on camera, we can do the interview over the phone. So she can, if she's still interested, she can call us at 342-0081 or 4665391, or she can call Sharon, and then we can make the arrangement. So we're still open to doing it, Miss Springer, or anybody who knows Miss Springer. But if she wants to do it at a later date, we will accommodate that as well. So just putting that out there. Right, so I was only informed at 7 o'clock this morning that Ms. Springer wouldn't be available. So I didn't really have time to prepare a show per se. Because, normally if I choose to discuss a topic, I would want to do research and get my information, because I don't like putting things out there that is inaccurate. Hence the reason I'm not a member of the United National Congress. But there are two things that have been, at the top of my mind that I would take the opportunity to speak to this morning. And the first one has to do with the show on Friday evening, where I think there was a clash between PNM and UNC supporters with respect to the achievements of both parties. Well, I tuned in late, but I think I would have gotten probably about a 45 minutes or so. So I don't know if that's probably the part where it was really, really heated. And I was hearing somebody who goes by the name of Brooklyn, I think, was talking about the legacy of the PNM and CPEP, and that is what PNM given to the supporters and the people from Lavantil. And I heard the back and forth with Barataria and this one and that one. And I must say it was very upsetting to listen to. When I heard Mr. Oh my gosh, ask them to speak about the achievements of the People's Partnership between 2010 and 2015. And without fail, you will always hear Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the baby grant. You will hear about all of the handouts, the handout programs that Mrs. Prasad Bisesa would have implemented. And it amazes me, I find it almost laughable that you would knock CPEP and knock URP, but at the same time, you're lifting up the baby grant, which was $500 a month, I think, to encourage people to make more children. Is that what it is? And you think that is something good, that is something laudable that Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the People Partnership did. You want to raise up Color Me Orange, where you were paying them $69 a day to paint buildings in East Port of Spain? Live sport? How many people lost their lives because of that? And how much did the intended beneficiaries get from that program? And when I say intended beneficiaries, I'm talking about the young, black, vulnerable youth who were supposed to learn trades and who were supposed to get their certificates in the various subjects and so on. How much did they benefit from that? How many of them left that program as millionaires? How many of them left that program with sufficient money in their pocket to be able to start a business? How many of them? And who were the persons who left with the multi-million-dollar contracts? You see, you all always wanted to talk about the PNM this and the PNM that. I listened to Philip Alexander did a live yesterday where he went down to because they had their meeting on Friday night, which was supposed to be in Woodford Square, and for whatever reason, whatever transpired, they were told that they no longer had the permission to gather in Woodford Square. So they met on Knox Street. I think I heard him say some senior police officer decided to block off Knox Street to allow them to assemble and have their meeting. Now, that is what you would call a super spreader event, because you had all of these people. There was absolutely no social distancing whatsoever. The event did not permit for social distancing, and several persons were doing lives at the time, and you were seeing a lot of people not wearing their masks, a lot of people with the mask on the chin, talking and having a good time, right next to each other, jumbled up. And this is the irresponsible of people like Mr. Alexander and the other organizers of this particular event that they had on Friday night. And I heard him say, so Friday was the first, and then they go into Grande and they go into San Fernando and Tobago, all with this petition to be signed. The laughable thing about it is that this petition is supposed to promote some requests that they have of the government to treat with the whole issue of crime in the country and protecting women and so on. He did an interview with TV6. I think it was TV6 or CNC3. I can't remember which one. And he listed the three main demands that they want, that they expect that this petition would accomplish. One is that they want the legalization or the decriminalization of non-lethal weapons like pepper spray and teasers and so on. But the National Security Council has already taken a decision with respect to the pepper spray, and that legislation will be brought to the Parliament soon to make these things legal. So that is already in train. The second thing that he spoke about was they want RFID license plates, whereby a person can just simply walk into an establishment that makes license plates and buy one and be able to go and carry out crimes by putting on fake license plates on your vehicle. And so it would now become a controlled item. But again, the government has already put things in place to treat with that. In fact, I think the matter was debated in the Parliament quite recently. And the Member of Parliament for Barataria San Juan, the UNC Member of Parliament, Saddam Hussein, in making his contribution to the debate, was very vocal with respect to his opposition to the government's proposal for these RFID license plates, because what it would entail is that you could download an app that if it is you suspect that a vehicle might be involved in some nefarious activity or so on, or it might be a stolen vehicle, you can always go on this app as a regular citizen, based on what I understand, and you can put in the license plate number and so on, and you would see a readout of the basic information of the owner of that vehicle is going to come up. Now, Saddam Hussein's argument is that that is going to be a violation of people's privacy rights and all of this kind of thing. But, well, tell that to Philip, because he wanted to. So two of the things that he wants is already in train by this government. And the third one, he wants a commission of inquiry into the administration of justice in Trinidad and Tobago. But we know the history of commissions of inquiry in this country. Millions of dollars are spent, lawyers' pockets get fat, the commissioner's pockets get fat, and then the final report ends up gathering dust in a desk somewhere or in somebody's cabinet or a drawer somewhere about. Nothing ever comes out of these things. So really and truly, it makes no sense. But, you know, I see this for what it is. It is simply a front, right? So when you looked at the ethnic complexion of the crowd, it was quite varied. So you would have seen persons from all different walks of life there, who were there not just about politics, albeit we know that this is the making of a political movement, but there are persons who are genuinely concerned about the state of crime in the country. Not that it's as bad today as it was a couple of years ago, but there is still general concern, and that is quite understandable. So there's this Andrea Barrett's death would have created a situation where you have now a rallying call for persons from all different walks of society who were there, and it's only a matter of time. And while Mr. Alexander would continue to knock the PNM and he's toned down his criticism of the UNC, see this for what it is. Eventually, it's, to my mind, setting the stage for some sort of discussion with the UNC when this movement, the Candlelight movement, picks up momentum. And they have seemingly the support of persons from various constituencies that would include perhaps even PNM constituencies as well, that you can now go and have a discussion with the UNC about forming some sort of alliance. Keith Noel won the 136 or 137 committee, wherever it was. Remember when they were dragging coffins around the Red House and Woodford Square at that time? See it for what it is. The man is a political opportunist, and when you have people the likes of Ian Allen, of course, I didn't see him on Friday night. I don't know if he wasn't there. But notably, a lot of the UNC, some more the vocal UNC activists weren't there either. And based on what Mr. Oh My Gosh should have told us, is that they chose to absent themselves from that because I guess they have some issue with Philip Alexander. So they didn't go. But see it for what it is, people. Those who have eyes to see will know what this is all about. But Mr. Alexander was in the Woodford Square yesterday, and he was talking about complaining that they need to take down the fence around Woodford Square and they need to open up the square so that it's the people's thing and this is not the PNM square and all of that. And then he decides to focus on a few of the vagrants in Woodford Square to say this is the legacy of the PNM, vagrancy, right? PNM caused that. PNM policy over 60 years, as he said, is what caused the vagrancy in Woodford Square and around the country. But apparently his memory is convenient because he doesn't recall that around 2012, 2013, where the UNC had a program in place that was intended to pick up such destitute persons, take them off of the streets and clean them up and put them in a shelter with a view, quote unquote, to eradicate the issue of vagrancy in Port of Spain. But then we heard, the UNC, and I've always said, they deserve the award for innovation in corruption, innovation in thieving. That you could come up with an idea to recycle vagrants, where you give out contracts to persons to pick up these destitute persons, take them off of the street, clean them up and house them at the expense of the state. And then after about 3 or 4 weeks, you bring them back and put them back out on the street so that you have a fresh batch of persons now to once again get another contract to take off of the street, clean them up, and you just continue the cycle, right? Continue the cycle and reaping the treasury. I mean, it takes a special type of corrupted mind to come up with something like that. To use destitute persons, homeless persons to fatten your pockets, right? But he don't remember that. But this is the legacy of the PNM, according to him. All right. And so I speak to that issue in the context of that discussion that was held on Friday afternoon with respect to the accomplishments and the achievements of the PNM versus the People's Partnership, UNC. And, it was very, as I said before, it raised my blood pressure when I listened to some of these persons. I listened to people like Mr. Tabakit, Kunji, and this gentleman who goes by the name of Brooklyn. Totally oblivious, or deliberately so, I would say. Deliberately oblivious to all of the achievements of the People's National Movement, and not just this current administration. PNM administrations past, going all the way back, because they love to go back to Eric Williams' days and talk about it's because of Eric Williams this and that, and when they love to talk about corruption. Every time you ask them, tell us about PNM corruption, no UNC person could ever have a discussion about PNM alleged corruption without talking about O'Halloran. That's the first name they mention. Privat, Calderhart, that's what they tell you, right? You will always hear those three names. But when you decide to speak about UNC corruption, just in the 2010 to 2015 period alone, you will outdo the PNM. Just in that period, we don't even need to go back to Pandey from 95 to 2001. That is a story by itself. Story by itself. But they seek to downplay the achievements of the People's National Movement, which, without contradiction, has been responsible for the majority of the development in this country. But you see, when you're very myopic in what you consider to be development, so you think that development is paving road, standpipe, you're giving children laptop, right? Baby grant, Color Me Orange, life sport, hoop of life. That's what they consider to be development. And I would ask all of the persons who would have benefited from these things, how many of them are today better off than they were between 2010 to 2015? All of the people who benefited from Color Me Orange when those young persons from around the East Dry River area went to Hilton Hotel, where the launch of the Color Me Orange program was held. And what did they meet when they got there? A heavily armed contingent of riot police. That's what they meant. Courtesy the People's Partnership, to say, well, we know your ilk, you all have a certain type of behavior. And we are bringing you here to, as if to say, we are bringing you here to Hilton, and we know you all are never see come see, so we need to bring the police here just in case you all turn riotous now. That's what they meant. And to add insult to injury, you had Mrs. Prasad Bisesa in addressing the audience, hands up, out, down, as if they were little children. All of that they had to endure, that embarrassment, for the sake of $69 a day. But would you hear people like Brooklyn and Tabakit contradict that? Would they attack that? No, they wouldn't. They speak about CPEP, and that is the PNM's legacy for their supporters. That's what they give to poor people. That's what they give to the supporters from Lavantil. And I don't understand what is this thing always talking about Lavantil. You would swear, if you weren't from Trinidad, you would swear that Lavantil is this hellhole, that is only, if you go there, it's just destitute. It's like a barren wasteland. That is the picture that these people like to portray of Lavantil. And half of them don't even know what the hell Lavantil is. All of them from down south, Barakpur and Faizabad, and some of them Rio Claro and these places, some of them don't even know where Port of Spain is. Send them to Port of Spain, they don't have a clue how to get to Port of Spain. But they know about Lavantil. Why? Because of what they hear from the UNC, the pictures that they would choose to show. But there are people who live in Lavantil, and they need to understand that Lavantil is not just what you see up on the hill, because they love to take this particular picture that you would see when you go over the NP overpass there. They love to take out every time, kick out the PNM, put up a meme about Lavantil. They always like to show this picture and tell you, well, look what the PNM has done for all these years. All these people who keep supporting PNM left foot, right foot. That's the nonsense that they like to talk about. But there are people who living in Lavantil doing very well, doing better than half of them who on Facebook always commenting and have nothing good to say about Lavantil. Plenty people in Lavantil doing better than all here, eating better than you all, have better jobs than you all, driving better cars than you all. You should take a ride. That's why we have Waze now. Everybody have a smartphone. Just put it in and come and see for yourself. Go and see for yourself. But coming back to the issue of achievements, that these people actually have the audacity to criticize the PNM and say that in 56 years the PNM has accomplished nothing, has achieved nothing. Really? Let me come back to this issue of CPEP, because that one really rubbed me the wrong way. Kamla Prasad Bisesa in 2006-2007 described CPEP as, and she was speaking in the parliament, described it as the intergenerational transfer of poverty. And she said that Mr. Manning has done a great disservice to the supporters of the PNM, and no other leader of the PNM has ever done worse for the people, for their supporters. That's what she said. Anand Ramlogan described CPEP as a loveless thing. He said, look at the people at the side of the road when you're driving and you're seeing them cutting grass. Is this what the forefathers of the PNM had in mind for their supporters? No. He went on to say that the vision that the PNM forefathers had was for the other people in society to be doing that PNM people were supposed to be driving in their air-conditioned cars and look down at other people cutting grass at the side of the road. Rudal Munilal also criticized CPEP. The general depiction of CPEP by senior persons in the UNC back in 2006, 2007 or thereabouts was that it was a total waste program. Munilal said that all people in CPEP do is paint stones. And if you stand up one place for too long, they paint you too. Remember he said that? Yeah. When they came in 2010, there were 5,000 persons employed in CPEP. When they left in 2015, there were over 15,000 persons working in CPEP. So all of a sudden, this loveless thing, this intergenerational transfer of poverty, it wasn't so bad. That you sought to increase it by a further 10,000 workers, and that you sought to increase the number of contractors as well, to ensure the longevity of the same program that you said was no damn good. But people, the likes of Mr. Brooklyn, knocking it. CPEP was never intended to be permanent employment, but some people have sought to make it permanent employment. So that, and they are content. I know a few people who are quite content to continue to work in CPEP. They have absolutely no problems with it. They enjoy the work hours, that they have no problem getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get to work for 5:30, and then they finish at 11:30, and they could go home and cock up their foot and relax in the hammock and do whatever it is they want. And at the end of the fortnight or so, you collect a pay. And they're good with that. They have organized their lives. They have organized and they have adjusted their standard of living to suit the money that they earn from CPEP. And whereas it was the intention of Mr. Manning that CPEP was supposed to create entrepreneurs, that it would have been a 3-year program where you would have come in, and in that time you would have been, as a contractor, you would have earned some income and some experience, so that when your contract period ended, you could now establish a business and probably continue to offer these services, not just to the state, but to the private sector as well. But as I said, from the worker standpoint, there were a lot of people who are quite content with making CPEP a career. There are people who are quite content with making URP a career. They have no problems with that. How is that the fault of the government? You want the government to go down there with a big whip and beat these people? If it is that a person, there are some people who, they are laborers in a particular CPEP gang, and if it is that the contract of that particular contractor ends, they will just shift and go to and find some other one to continue doing the work. That is their choice. As they say, you could lead a horse to the water, but you can't force him to drink. How is that the fault of the government? So when you want to beat up on the PNMO, that's the only legacy and the only accomplishment that they have. Ridiculous. I always ask the question, how many houses did Kamla Prasad Bisesa build between 2010 and 2015? Up to now, I can't get an answer. Mr. Oh my gosh, how many houses did Kamla build between 2010 and 2015? And I am saying that if they built thousands of houses, that is something that they would want to trumpet, right? Because if you're beating your chest because you claim you built 103 schools, I would think that 5,000-6,000 houses trumps 103 schools. But you don't ever hear them talking about housing. Never. The only time, remember Munilal as Minister of Housing when he told us that 1,206 houses was ready for occupation up at terrestrial lands? And I always laugh at that one, that when the media went up to terrestrial lands, all they found was two backhoe, two load of gravel and a load of red sand and some blocks. That was all. Not one house. Not one. In the last few months of their administration, 100 houses a week. Who built those houses that they were giving out every week? Who built it? How many did they build? Mr. Oh my gosh, tell me now. Mr. Tabakit, Mr. Long Circular, Kunji, Mr. Brooklyn, tell us, how many houses did they build? I'm hearing Mr. Tabaki talking about Kamla Prasad Bisesa turn the sod for the Arima Hospital and this turning sod. So you take a shovel and you go and you dig some dirt, some red sand that they put around a few blocks, Mr. Tabaki, constitutes building a hospital? And then coming to say that it was started under Kamla Prasad Bisesa and that the funding was already put in place? Garbage. There was no funding in place. I don't know under which rock you've been living. It was this administration that had to come and renegotiate all of those contracts that were given out, resulting in the savings of over $1.5 billion, Mr. Tabakit. That if the People's Partnership had gotten a second term, that is a $1.5 billion extra that we, the taxpayers of this country, would have had to pay. And this administration showed us that that $1.5 million extra was totally unnecessary. Today, the Arima Hospital is completed. Because Kamla turned this out on May 7th, 2015. Exactly 4 months before the general election. You could build a hospital in 4 months, Mr. Tabakit? Are you familiar with what takes place from the time there is the turning of the sod to the start of construction? About funding was put into place. Really? Where? They borrowed over $1 billion to build the Couva Children's Hospital. And then saying that this is because of the Couva Hospital that Trinidad and Tobago is deemed to have such great health care. International. Really? You built a hospital and you didn't have a chiller for the vaccines that we are supposed to be getting very soon? Apparently you missed that from the Minister of Health. That was the one hospital that didn't have a chiller to accommodate storage of the vaccines, Mr. Tabakit. Today, under this administration, the Point 14 Hospital, I believe is complete or almost complete, Mr. Tabakit. The Roxborough Hospital, Mr. Tabuki. The Central Block in Port of Spain, Mr. Tabuki. Did Kamala turn the sword for that too? She loves to boast her government had the highest energy revenues in this country's history, and that is very true. Because when you go and you look and you Google oil prices from, let's say, 1970 come forward, and you would see that it was under her administration that you had the highest price for oil, over $100 a barrel. Over $100 per barrel. That was the prevalent price for the majority of their administration for the time that they were in office. So they were earning billions of dollars in energy revenues. So to my mind, there was absolutely no need for them to incur the kind of debt that they incurred as an administration, because money was coming in, more so than under the Manning administration, under the Pandey administration, under the Robinson administration, under the Chambers administration, and even under the Eric Williams administration. So that when I saw on Facebook recently, I remember the UNC post up that under Basil Pandey had oil prices at $9 per barrel, and he did so well. $9 for what, 1 month? So of course, I had to go and do my research and pull it up and post it for him to see what the average price really was under Mr. Pandey. So that $9 was probably for a month or two, but the prevalent price was around $17, $18 per barrel. But they continue to post this narrative because they're too damn intellectually lazy to go and do their research for themselves. So they depend on who? The likes of Kick Out the PNM. Propaganda machinery number one. The likes of Garth Christopher and No Borders HC. And all of the propaganda that comes from UNC head office, as I will play for you just now once the internet behaves, where Kirk Mayhew, the PRO of the UNC, who did an interview quite recently with Fazir Mohammed, and Fazir were talking about this vaccine thing and how the government of Trinidad and Tobago fell down on the whole vaccine thing, and that's all, vaccine, which is the second thing I will talk about. But Fazir put him in his place and would have told him, based on what's happening in Barbados compared to us, we are doing very well, and that what you're basically doing is pushing, as per usual, UNC propaganda. Fazil called him out on it. Have you heard anybody from the UNC calling for a boycott of One Caribbean Media, which is the parent company for TV6? You hear anybody calling for the boycott of TV6? Anybody calling for Fazil's head, for him to be fired? No. But Natalie Legault, she wasn't talking to, she didn't call them out, she wasn't talking to anybody directly from the UNC, She made a comment with respect to, and all of the truth in it is the fact that after the election, where the UNC talk about the election was stolen, same thing as Donald Trump was saying, and alleging corruption and all of these things, same narrative as Donald Trump. Oh, but they wanted to rake Natalie over the coals for that. But Fazir, no, we have no issue with Fazir. Fazir could say whatever he want. And the hypocrisy of the UNC, right? Natalie is over across the road from here at TTT. She's now the host for the Now Morning Show, right? Recently started. And who was her guest? I think last Thursday or Friday. Mr. Rambali, who is the UNC Member of Parliament for Chaguanas West. Yeah, he was on the program. Remember last week, Trio TT, which is an arm of the UNC, they were supposed to come out on Natalie's first day to protest on Marval Road here, to protest outside TTT, calling for Natalie to be dismissed. Even before she started, they never showed up. Never showed up. And then you have people like Garth Christopher going on Facebook and calling her, she's a nasty Jamaican, lying Jamaican, and all this kind of thing. Like, you forget about Marcia Brave Boy. Grenadian. Nobody could lie like her. So much so that now that she's hiding from the police and everybody else because of her mouth. Her mouth writing checks that her bank account cannot cash. But he won't talk about her. No, because she's in the UNC fold. Their brotherhood of wrongdoers, which he likes to call the PNM. Oh, yes. But you want Natalie to go, and then your MP come in and praising her and complimenting her, and so a bunch of hypocrites. Hypocrites. I could ever support our party? Look. But I digressed, right? Let's talk about achievements. The PNM and the People's Partnership, because it's about Kamala and Dr. Rowley. That's what it is. And what did they achieve? So I come back to the issue of highest energy revenues in this country's history between 2010 and 2015. So essentially it was an oil boom, because the UNC love to say the PNM had 2 oil booms and what the country have to show for it. right? Rafiq Shah did an article a few years ago, could be about 3 or 4 years ago. I was trying to find it. Where in that article, he made mention of the fact that the total energy revenues spent by the People's Partnership between 2010 and 2015 represented 50% of the total energy revenues earned by this country in about 30 years or so, right? In just that 5-year period. And I always remark, and I was looking at it this morning, and I would encourage all of you to look at the Auditor General's report of 2010. You just go on Google and type in Auditor General's report 2010 Trinidad, and you will see it come up. Anyone that you want, just do that. Which is why it was laughable when Kamala Persad-Bissessar said that she attempted to get a copy of the 2016 Auditor General's report because she wanted to look into this zipline matter, and she was unable to get a copy, and so she was waiting with bated breath for it to be laid in the Parliament so she could get a copy. I don't know who they're trying to fool. But when you look at that and look at the Treasury report, it's very early on in the report, and it itemizes the income and expenditure of the government from October of 2009 to September of 2010. And you would see month for month how much income the government would have received, how much income came into the Exchequer's account, and then below that, what the monthly expenditure was from the Exchequer account. So the total income received in 2010, according to the Auditor General's report, was just over $42 billion. The total expenditure was $46 billion, right? Between October of 2009, it would have been at the start of fiscal 2009-2010, and May of 2010, when the PNM demitted office, the PNM would have spent roughly $26 billion, right? Which is just about 3.4 billion TT per month. In 8 months, they spent roughly 26 billion. The People's Partnership government came into office, they won the election on the 24th of May, and the entire government would have been sworn in by the 28th of May. So their first day of work would have been around the 1st of June, really, right? Because they would have been sworn in on the Friday and they would have started working on the Monday. But the Monday would have been Indian Arrival Day, so it was a holiday, so they would have started working from the 1st of June. Between the 1st of June 2010 to the 30th of September 2010, the People's Partnership spent $20 billion in 4 months. $20 billion in 4 months, as opposed to the PNM spending 26 in 8 months, right? At the end of 2009, according to the Auditor General's report, the balance in the Exchequer account was in deficit by $10 billion. Now, you would be aware that there was some significant expenditure by the PNM administration, circa 2007 to 2009. That's when we had the bulk of the construction taking place with respect to Napa, Sapa, the government campus, Hyatt, those buildings around by the waterfront, housing. There was a massive construction program taking place under the leadership of Patrick Manning in that period, 2006 to 2010, thereabouts, right? So much so that Kamala Persad-Bissessar was complaining that the government were doing too much employment. She was saying all of the skilled and unskilled workers, the carpenters, the masons, and so on, if you're doing some private work home, you can't get one. All of them working on government projects. The government is overheating the economy. They're crowding out the private sector. That was the cry. When there was so much employment taking place, they had an issue with all of that. People were employed, getting money in their pocket. They were eating our food. But she had an issue with that. Too many people were employed. That making the government look good. You remember that? So that would have accounted for significant expenditures, which would have resulted in that deficit. But that was, at that point in time, that was the highest deficit the Exchequer account had ever experienced. And based on the level of expenditure of the PNM up until May of 2010, assuming that level of expenditure of roughly 3.3 billion, 3.5 billion thereabouts had continued for the next 4 months, then that deficit was projected to be reduced to maybe about 7 billion, so that at the end of 2010, had the People's Partnership not won the election, it's quite likely that the exchequer account would have closed off the year with a balance of about 8 billion in deficit, right? At the end of 2010, the exchequer account closed off at 13 billion in deficit, which was the highest it had ever been. That's 2010. Between 2010 and when the People's Partnership left office in September of 2015, that figure went from 13 to $33 billion in deficit, right? The highest it has ever been. And based on the country's current financial situation and the level of energy revenues that are being earned, and not just energy and non-energy sector revenues, it would be very difficult to get that exchequer account back to where it was in 2010, down to about $6-7 billion, or perhaps even come out of it. Very, very difficult. Despite the best efforts of this administration to reduce spending from budgets of about $65 billion a year down to about 48 to 50, 53 billion thereabout, it has been very difficult. And I cannot understand for the life of me how, when you were earning the highest energy revenues in this country's history, what possible reason you had to borrow so much from the exchequer account. Not just the exchequer account, you have the overdraft, the raid, NGC, you name it. Wherever they could take money from, they took. So money rolling in, right? But as they say, the more income you earn is the more you spend. And what did they spend on? What did they really spend that money on? And I'm asking you, with far less revenues than Kamala had, Keith Rowley got us not one, not two, but 3 brand new ferries. 3. How many did Kamala get us? None. Instead, she gave us the Superfast Galicia. And let me point out to the UNC illiterati, the Superfast Galicia was not a passenger vessel. It was a cargo vessel. The purpose of that vessel was simply to transport cargo, all of the trucks and the trailers and so on that take goods to Tobago. That was the purpose of that vessel. So the only passengers who would have been on that vessel would have been persons who were driving the trucks and so on, the vehicles that carrying the goods. That's it. So we had the 2 vessels, which were the Spirit and the Express, and they run it down. When those vessels were supposed to be going for dry dock to make sure that you do your service, just like those of us who own cars, and from time to time, you need to take your car in to be serviced so that it would continue to work in proper order and it wouldn't result in a situation where you have to spend tens of thousands of dollars to fix a problem because your transmission going through, or the engine stall or something, so you need to do your periodic service. That was not taking place. They ran it down like water. So that when this administration came in 2015, all of the extensions that I think is the Express had gotten to go beyond when it was supposed to go for dry docking, and then they request an extension not to put it on dry dock. All of that took its toll on the vessel. And when this administration came in, there were no more extensions to be had. So it had to go on dry dock, only to find at that time that the damage was too expensive to fix. And the government had to end up sending the other one, which at least still had some hope. And what was supposed to have taken 4 to 6 months ended up taking about a year or so and costing a set of money because of the amount of problems. But who caused that? Blame Keith Rowley for that, right? Blame Stuart Chung and Faris Al-Rawi for that, right? Yeah. Don't blame Kamala. They didn't have nothing to do with that. No. They weren't the ones who run it down. They weren't the ones who canceled the contract for the foreign team that was supposed to be responsible for servicing the vessel. No. That wasn't their fault. That's Keith Rowley's fault. And so Dr. Rowley came in and inherited this situation with two vessels on their last legs. And a solution had to be found. But they always like to talk about the Superfast Galicia, and it's because Rowley sent back the Galicia is why thing happened. Nonsense. When it is that they were looking for a vessel, after they extended the lease or the charter party agreement for the Warrior Spirit for a number of years, and then the Warrior Spirit was operating on only one engine, and it became untenable. And then they brought in Nairi Alfonso to try and see how they could get out of the contract. And somehow, Nairi, who was brought in to tell them or to advise the Port Authority on how they could get out of the contract, which they couldn't, so we ended up paying for 2 vessels where only one was working for a number of years, thanks to them. Somehow, she ended up linked to a company that eventually got the contract to bring in the Superfast Galicia. But when Leon Grant was the acting general manager of the Port Authority at the time, went to wherever the Galicia was, in Gibraltar, wherever, Spain or wherever it was, to do the sea trials, at that point in time, no contract signed, it was brought to his attention that the vessel was unsuitable for the our port infrastructure here. And when he relayed this information back to the Ministry of Transport in Port of Spain, he was told, boy, bring the damn vessel, we go fix that problem when it reaches here. Yes, bring it. How much it going to cost for we to fix that problem? Well, in the first instance, about 2 million because we had to build a ramp and we need to do this and we had to do some dredging and so on and so on. Man, bring the damn vessel now, man. Bring it. Bring it here. And for 53 days, while they're looking to build port infrastructure to facilitate the Galicia, you, the citizens of this country, were paying $17,500 US per day to have the Superfast Galicia anchored out in the Gulf. Just sunning, you know, you say you could drive past and say, look at that, that's a nice boat, eh? It's looking good, eh? Cool, look at the size of that. How much it costing us the taxpayers just to have that anchored outside there? $17,500 US a day for 53 days. But you'll hear the literati at the UNC knocking that? No, they don't talk about that. You think you'll hear kick out the PNM, put up a meme about that? You'll hear God Christopher talk about that? No. Mr. Tabakit? Mr. Oh my gosh! You'll hear him talk about that? No. That's all right. That's all right. That's the achievements of the UNC. Achievements of the UNC. $20 million spent on the happiness campaign to tell you and me what it means to be happy. 20 million from NGC. That's the achievements of the UNC. People's Partnership. You want to talk about achievement? Let's go. Under Mr. Manning, right? Because I remember when Mr. Pandey was Prime Minister, he said when you're in office, the government needs to build things that you can see and feel and touch, so that when you leave office and they say what you're spending money on, you could tell them, go here, go there, go there, and you could see. You could point fingers and see. This is where they build, this is where they build. So just build things, and then you could say that's where the money went. But Mr. Manning did the same thing, infinitely more than Pandey did. And did that help him? Did the UNC praise him for all of these things that he built? Napa, Sapa, the waterfront complex, government campus, all the schools that he built? That when Tim Gopi Singh came in as Minister of Education, and you know right now they're beating up on some of the government ministers, they like to say Coleman Burt is an engineer, square peg in wrong hole. Why? What does he know about finance? But you put a gynecologist to head the Ministry of Education. You have no problems with that. And then commenting on some of the schools that Mr. Manning built. He said Manning didn't build school, he built hotel. You can see the size of these schools? Hotels, that's what he said. How many schools did Mr. Manning build that the People's Partnership between 2010 and 2015 left closed? Right? How many? They refused to open it. But today, you're hearing the supporters talking about, oh, the PNM want to open this and the PNM don't want to open that. For years, for between 2015 to 2020, we had to keep hearing them talk about the Couva Children's Hospital and how Kamla built the hospital and the PNM don't want to open the hospital because they're too wicked and it's spite. Kamla told us the reason why they want to open it is because the government perceives South to be Indian and Indo descent. Yes. But the PNM is the party that love to promote racism, right? But you as a political leader, the Prime Minister in waiting, as they like to call you, would get up on a UNC Monday night forum in Rio Claro and tell people the reason why the government don't want to open the Couva Hospital and they don't want to open the UE campus in Debe is because they perceive South to be Indian. Any condemnation? No. That's all right. She's entitled to say that. But the blank man, if he says something like that, Lord Father, fire and brimstone. Right? But you left government campus downtown. 5 years, 3 months and 14 days. Highest energy revenues in this country's history. All you had to do was to outfit it when you came in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, when money running. All you had to do was to outfit it. You didn't do it. Left it there for 5 years, 3 months and 14 days and continued to pay rent in the tunes of millions and tens of millions and millions of dollars every year to the very 1% that you're cussing today, to the very 1% that you want to attack and say, oh, this government is only for the 1% and the 1% and they do it. I'm sick and tired of hearing UNC people talk that dotish narrative about this government was only for the 1% and the 1%. So I see in today's newspaper where Agostini would have purchased, I think, Oscar Francois, which is one of the main companies that brings in pharmaceuticals and so on. And the story is couched in such a way as to give the impression, because I think Oscar Francois, one of them, they are responsible, they are the distributors for some of the products of AstraZeneca and Moderna and whoever else here, right? So the assumption, or the picture, the narrative that is being created is that the reason why the government didn't want to buy any vaccines from India or didn't request any from India is because they knew that this merger was coming, and now the 1% is going to be responsible for bringing in the vaccines. Whether Agostini had purchased Oscar Francois or not, the fact of the matter is that Oscar Francois didn't come into being yesterday or last week. This is a company of long standing. So they didn't need a merger if it is that they have to bring in these things. But the government has already put in its order to bring in vaccines already, and these arrangements are already in place. But that is the narrative that you're going to be hearing from today and for the next week or two, right? That's the narrative that they're going to be pushing. This thing about the 1%. But it was not Keith Rowley that gave 4 acres of prime real estate in Shagaramas to a member the 1% for $1 a year, $30 for 30 years, with the intent that he would build a car park and lease it back to the CDA for $900,000 of the very best taxpayers' dollars a month for 30 years. Do the math and see what that works out to. So when you want to talk to me about, oh, this government is only for the 1%, Keith Rowley didn't spend taxpayers' money to host no big fete up in the diplomatic center for the benefit of the so-called 1%, to tell you that you need to emulate the 1%. That's probably the best piece of advice Kamala ever gave. To tell us, the citizens, that we need to emulate what they are doing. And then Trinidad and Tobago would be the best country it could ever be if only you would emulate the 1%. She said that. She said that, not Keith Rowley. But Keith Rowley is the Oreo end. And oh my gosh. And Tabakit, I see the ads are coming up. We go to the break and we come back.
Believe in the Most High, and you're forever blessed. Put some hearts and flames in the air right now. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I said I can't do me not one thing. 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 Let us continue the bad work. Can't touch me. Let us continue. Can't touch me. Let us burn them a candle. Can't reach me. Sing it, Sandra. It's my angel. What? I'm say when you go party. Watch out. When you go out on the hustle, watch out for them. All on the one place. If you believe in the Most High, put your hands in the air. Say they can't do me not one thing. 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 You know she tell me love it. Mommy always tell me be mindful. Don't keep back company. And she always tell me be mindful of what's going on around me. They want lock me up in the bad vibe. I know love is the key. They try to knock me down no time, but I don't have a shit. Put your hands when you go party, watch out for them. When you go out on the road, watch out for them. And if so is where I started. Put your hands in the air for the party right now. And if you're blessed in your nose, then I can't do it not one thing. 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 Can't do it not one thing.
The Enagic change your water, change your life. Enagic water purifier, one machine, 5 types of water. Enagic makes strong Kangen water with an 11.5 pH. Kangen water with 8.5 to 9.5 pH, healthy drinking and cooking water. Clean water with 7.0 pH. Beauty water for skin, hair, and plants with a 6.0 pH. Strong acid water with a 2.5 pH. This water is known to disinfect, kill viruses and bacteria. Listen to the Street 919 FM with Pastor Alkaline John every Tuesday from 11:05 a.m. to noon and every Wednesday from 8:05 p.m. to 9 p.m. as he talks to you weekly about how to improve your quality of life through purifying and drinking water. For more information, call or WhatsApp Pastor John at 516-286-7079.
We care for your eyes. That's why Value Optical recommends world-leading transitions lenses that protect your eyes from blue light and 100% of UV rays. They automatically adapt to changing light conditions, making life simpler and more comfortable for your eyes every day. Now available in 4 new style colors for you to personalize any frame and express your style. Value Optical, caring for your eyes.
When you text on the Street 919 FM, you can win weekly fabulous prizes. Text to win. Using your B-Mobile or Digicel handset, text your name to 9191, which allows you to win. One winner will be selected every Friday at 5 p.m. Listen, text, and win. You can also view live streams on Facebook at The Street 919 FM and YouTube at The Street 919 FM. Text to win on The Street 919 FM.
The Archdiocese of the West Indian United Spiritual Baptist Sacred Order, Inc., with Bishop Patrick Roberts and the New Jerusalem Church of Jesus Christ. He and his diocese would be on IWER stage on Wednesday, the 10th of March, 2021, from 6 p.m. This is the 70th anniversary of the repeal of the Draconian Prohibition Ordinance of 1917, and the theme is Fulfilling Our Spiritual Liberation. His Eminence, Patriarch Dr. Stephen F. Julian, His Grace, Archbishop W. Leon John, and King Shepherd Ray M.S. Brathwaite.
Well, people, this is IWER Church. Help us with the fight against COVID-19. Sanitize yourself. You have to wash your hands. Regional Health Authority. Sanitize yourself. Sanitize your hand. My God.
Johnny Q Auto Parts Division says it's an assault on battery prices. Paul Master, Optima, Vata, and Megastar. Starting from $488. Yes, $488. For cars, trucks, and boats. Backed by Massey Automotive. And only available at Tobago Color Shop. Suppliers of paint, plumbing, and hardware materials. Old Farm Road, Shore Park, Tobago. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call 725-5873 or 474-2456. And in Trinidad at Johnny Q, 15 R. Peter Avenue, Woodbrook. Remember, batteries from $488.
Gospel of the Kingdom radio program with Gilbert James is now on the Street 919 FM every second, third, and fourth Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. and every first and third Sunday from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. Monday. The Bible says, the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world as a witness to all nations, and then the end shall come. For more info, call 652-0924 or 298-4540 and join us every second, third, and fourth Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. and every first and third Sunday from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. Monday for the Gospel of the Kingdom radio program with Gilbert James.
Hey guys, it's Aisha Wells here. Listen up. If you're considering selling or renting your house in Trinidad and Tobago, then call Keelan George with O'Neill's Real Estate Group. He's a good friend of mine and he's been in the business for over 6 years. First, selling real estate in Atlanta, Georgia, and now right here in Trinidad and Tobago. He has a strategic online marketing presence that actually attracts thousands of home buyers and renters. Plus, with his home selling advice and techniques, he's getting homes sold really fast. Keelan will actually guarantee you sell your home, or get this, you can cancel the listing agreement and pay nothing at any time. That's right, you heard me, nothing at any time. Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful, people. Check out www.o'neillrealestatetT.com. O'Neill is spelled O-N-E-I-L, or just call Keelan direct at 363-4030. That's 363-4030.
Royal Castle happily presents our New Year giveaway. When you buy a family meal, you could be in to win some happiness. A kitchen appliance combo of a new stove, fridge, and microwave. Whoa! A living room set, a washer-dryer combo, or a dining room set. Other goodies include Samsung Smart TVs, grocery vouchers, or one of 20 tablets. Just write your info on your bill and slip it into the entry box in store. It's easy to win with our New Year giveaway.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio.
The Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center of number 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande is pleased to present Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson and guests on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. On Sundays, Ministry of Worship, Children's Hour, and the Word. Tuesdays, see Jesus in every book of the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation. On Wednesdays, we deal with current affairs from a biblical perspective. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell everyone. For further information, visit us at www.churchofthefirstbornassembly.org. Facebook, email us at church668hope@gmail.com or call at 753-1113 or 239-7271. Your free will gifts and offerings will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222 at the First Citizens Bank.
Yo, this is a Big Mike, not the mass man, the health man. Are you one of the 40 million people suffering with joint issues like rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis? Well, you are listening to the right ad. You have the ailment, we have the remedy. Call us now on 288-8301 or 346-2612.
Don't forget to tune in right here on the Street 919 FM every Wednesday from 10:05 a.m.
Performance, beat all talk.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying locked to the Street 919 FM. For those of you who may be just joining us, and you may have been looking forward to the interview that we were supposed to have with Ms. Springer this morning, we've not been able to get in contact with Ms. Springer subsequent to, to facilitate the interview. But As I would have expressed prior, we are still quite interested in having that interview. So again, if Ms. Springer or anybody who is associated or affiliated with her is listening, you can let her know that we can have the interview over the phone. There's still time. She can call us at 342-0081, 466-5391, or she can contact Sharon. But if she's unable to do it today for whatever reason, we can always do it another day. But I know a lot of persons would have been looking forward to that. I too was looking forward to it because I'm interested to know what actually would have played off, because having spoken to some other folks who would have listened to the program on Friday and would have heard our discussions around it and the brief interview that we would have had with Ms. Springer, clearly she was not dealt a fair hand at all. So we continue to hope that we can have the interview and perhaps see what intervention, if any, could be made. So Ms. Springer, please feel free. So I continue. So I was talking again about, that whole issue about this achievements between PNM and UNC. Let me just touch on a couple other things that would have been achieved by this administration. That people tend to overlook and don't understand the significance of. When Mrs. Prasad Bisesa left office in 2015, the personal allowance was $60,000. Today, as of January of this year, it's now $84,000. It means that persons who earn over $7,000 a month are now paying $6,000 less per year in taxes than they were paying when Kamla Prasad Bisesa was the Prime Minister in 2015. $6,000 less. That's an additional $6,000 that you have in your pocket from this year going forward, right? It was $3,000 savings before, because this is the second time that this administration has increased the personal allowance, notwithstanding the fact that UNC illiterati continue to say that the government all they're doing is tax, only increasing taxes. No, they reduced your tax liability by $6,000 per year. So all who want to gripe about baby grant, which was, I believe, $500 a month, well, guess what? You're saving $500 a month in taxes. So you get a different way, if you're so inclined to baby grant. You could do it $6,000. A lot. That's 2 trips to Miami. 2 trips, round trip, for the year with spending money. Take it from me, I would know. And there are lots of other things that you could do. That could pay your car insurance for the year. It could pay if you have any type of other insurance. You could pay for that too. How much more groceries per month that is? That's $500 extra in your pocket every month that you would not get in that under Kamla Prasad Bisesa you would have had to pay to the Board of Inland Revenue. Then there's the issue of the reduction in VAT from 15% to 12.5%. And again, I continue to underscore that these things and the significance of it has been overlooked. Because when you listen again to the UNC illiterati, you would swear that the only thing in this country that had VAT on it was food. That is the only thing we buy with VAT. That Kamla took VAT off at 7,000 food items and Rowley come in and he put back on the VAT. Really? What were the 7,000 food items? How many of you all who shop, who go to the grocery every month, buy 7,000 food items every month? I would challenge any member of the UNC to call in and tell us 7,000 food items that they took VAT off of. Please, I would love to know. Stuff like maraschino cherries and portobello mushrooms and caviar and all of these things. How many of you all buy that? All of us who suffering and we think so bad we can't even afford to buy a chicken anymore. We could only buy chicken foot. Remember, Mr. Waterfront? How many of them could afford to buy all of these things that I just mentioned there? Macadamia nuts and all these. You all really buy these things? How did you benefit from VAT, from Kamla taking VAT off of these things? I told you all before, at a meeting in the lead up to the general election, I heard Tahaka Obika, and look how the UNC just discard him like a old rag. Embarrassing, eh? Yeah, just discard you. And they bring in, after all the work that you did, for the few years that you were a senator, they discard you like an old rag and bring in Damian Lyder, the likes of Damian Lyder, Tupelman, and David Naked. Yeah, that's how much they valued you, Tahaka. That's how much they valued you, Sean Sobers. Yeah, that's how much they valued you all. Stupid. But anyway, I digress. Mr. Obika was speaking at a meeting. I think it was one of the pavement report or something, or the gutter report or canal report, whatever you want to call it, or the Friday night rum shop talk by the corner. And he listed, I mean, you are reading from a prepared speech, right? Written in front of you. And the 6 items that you listed to tell people, watch, this wicked and evil PNM government put back VAT on curry and peas and salt and all kind of thing. And when you go, and again, just go online and just type in 0 rated items Trinidad and Tobago or non-VAT items in Trinidad and Tobago. And the first 6 things that you see come up on the list was the very 6 things that this gentleman mentioned. All of them suffering from a severe case of diabetes. Can't help it. Diabetes they're suffering from. That is the future of the UNC. Well, they kick him aside, as I said. So that's one less to have to contend with. But you never know. They like to play Jesus and just resurrect the dead. So if they could do it with the Tupel man, well, who else? But think about it this way, and this is the thing that irks me. Forget the food. Consider all the other things that we pay VAT on in this country. All the other things, right? Which is a lot. Under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, you would have had to pay 15% VAT. Under Keith Rowley, it's 12.5%. When you go to the showroom to buy a new car, and everybody wants a car, brand new car. Under Kamla, you would have paid 15% VAT. Under Keith Rowley, 12.5%. That 2.5% VAT that you're saving on that car, how much does that work out to, depending on the value of the car? Thousands of dollars. That same thousands of dollars, you might end up, that savings you could use to pay the car insurance on the same brand new car. When you go to build a house and you want to, and now we see the price of steel skyrocket, right? The VAT that you're paying on that, you would have paid 15% VAT on that under Kamla. You're paying 12.5% under Keith Rowley. That 2.5% savings on all those materials, on the blocks and on the steel and the galvanized and everything else, the cement and everything else that you have to buy to build the house. You're saving money on that. They wouldn't talk about that, right? No, because it's only food. That's apparently the only thing people buy in this country, nothing else. When you decide to take a trip, you want to buy a plane ticket, paying 15% VAT under Kamla. When you buy your phone card, to top up those persons who are still prepaid. 15% VAT under Kamla, you're paying 12.5%. I want you to think about all the VATable items that you are saving 2.5% VAT on thanks to Keith Rowley and Colman Burt, that you would have paid 15% VAT on under Kamla, but you all don't think about them things. No, we're only studying food. That's all. So apparently we're walking around this country naked. We don't buy clothes. The cell phones, all of these devices that you have now, the laptops and the tablets, all these things. Some of you all who complaining you're suffering and could only buy chicken foot, have 2 and 3 cell phones, smartphones, but you're suffering. No VAT on these things now. But Keith Rowley ain't doing nothing for the people, only pressuring poor people. Only pressuring poor people. The government set up something in place where entrepreneurs could access up to $250,000, as a grant to further their businesses. Marshall Montano get $250,000 for his chocolate factory. Oh Lord, all they went to tongue. Watch, they only giving more and more money to the rich. Well, Marshall need that money for all that money Marshall is making, and Marshall Monday, this, that, the other, all he concert, all the thing he paid money for. Why it is there to give Marshall $250,000? But the same members of the illiterati who knocking that had no problems with their administration paying Marshall $10 million in 2012 for a CD, right? To create an album in celebration of our 50th anniversary as an independent. 10 million versus 250,000. Talk about achievements. Under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, how many months you would have had to wait to get an appointment for your passport? Now you go online, book it, go to the passport office, you get through within an hour, and in less than 7 days, your passport coming to meet you home. So you no longer have to be calling. You no longer have to go down to say, I come to find out if my passport ready yet. Coming to you through TT Post. But no, you all prefer to go and line up in front of the immigration office from 3:30 in the morning, hoping that you could get a number. You all remember those days under Kamla? Long lines from 3:30 in the morning on Frederick Street. People looking to get an appointment, and then after you get through, you still have to wait 6 to 8 weeks before you get your passport. You remember that? But under Stuart Young, who they called our state no confidence motion in the other day, he fixed it. Right? Once upon a time, it was a whole day exercise to go and get your driver's permit. You remember that? When you go down to license office on Ryson Road, get there early and make sure you reach there before 12 o'clock, because when the cashiers go to lunch from 12 to 1, crap or smoke your pipe, you have to wait until they come back 1 o'clock to pay, to get your chit. And then you have to go and sit down in the back room and wait for them to call your name to get a laminated driver's permit. You remember that? Now you go online, still have some hiccups in terms of the date that you're going to get, but there are always teething problems in these things. But you book your date, book your time, and you go on the day, and within 20 minutes, you have your new license in hand and you're out. I would know, because I went earlier this year, right? Back in January. So I would know. But these things don't give, no, those are not accomplishments. Those are not achievements. Oh, no. No. All of you all who love riding the APT James. Hear what? It's not an achievement. So when you decide that you want to go to Tobago and you don't support the government, and you decide to book a ticket, you're carrying your car, whatever it is, and you see they tell you the vessel at this particular time that your book is the APT James, tell them, nah, forget that. When the I want to go on the vessel that Kamla buy. Yeah, I don't want to go on the vessel that Keith Rowley buy. I want the one Kamla buy. And see how when you will reach the Tobago. You tell me. Still waiting to see the one Kamla buy. They bought a set of vessels, damning vessels. Look what happening now. Investigation, because some senior politician apparently takes some bribe or whatever it is. But we'll see how that pans out. Yeah, we'll see. But to come back to the CPEP thing, and when I listen to people like Mr. Brooklyn and these guys who want to knock the CPEP, you would swear it's only PNM people working CPEP and URP. Not one UNC supporter. Not one. Working CPEP and URP. Between 2010 and 2015, UNC didn't give contracts to any UNC person. No UNC person got a CPEP or URP contract. No. UNC don't do them thing. They're above board. And talk about achievements. Where is the PNM equivalent of the wastewater treatment plant? 1 point somewhat billion. Where is it? I ask and I want to know. I'm curious. Because you all wouldn't talk about these things. Tell us. The great UNC, the great People's Partnership, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, the best prime minister this country ever had. The mother of the nation. Right. She raised pension. What are you doing, poor people? Right. What did she do? She simply expanded a set of, again, handout programs. Yeah, just put money in their hand, man. Buy the votes. Buy the votes. When Mr. Manning wanted to develop East Port of Spain, to tear down the old apartments there and put up new ones, who was it that told the residents there, don't take what they were offering all here? Your apartment's worth at least $1 million, nothing less. Take nothing less than $1 million. What happened? Tell us, what happened? Anybody get $1 million? Have the apartments been fixed? But when this administration come now and say they want to revitalize East Port of Spain, what do we have? Same people being resurrected coming to tell them, hey, don't study Rowley and them, you know. Nah, they just want to take all their land and develop it so they could give it to the 1%. As if. And people just buy into that dotish rhetoric. This thing about the 1%. This has become so ingrained in the psyche. You know, I really wish we could go back in time and erase that episode of Anthony Bourdain that would have given life to this 1% thing. But it's the same Kamla Persad-Bissessar who told you to emulate them. So everything that the so-called 1% is doing now, everything she told you, that is good. Do that. And Trinidad and Tobago would be the richest country in the hemisphere. Do that. And you would see success. But today, she tell you, they try to own me. And they try to own Mr. Manning. But she sent them packing. And how did she send them packing? 35 acres of prime real estate in Chagaramas for $3,800 a month. When it should have been $500,000. That's how she sent them packing. How did she send them packing? Her administration, when they came in, Mr. Manning set up the mega farms. What did they say? Nah, we need to shut down those mega farms because the government should not be competing with the private sector. So you shut it down. You say mega farms that were supposed to revolutionize the agricultural sector, right? And had they continued it, who knows where agriculture might have been today? Who knows? But you shut it down. Instead, you took one of the mega farms and gave it a member the 1%, 100 acres, to plant onions to export. And what happened? Piece of the land ended up being paved to host Carnival Fete. Prime, arable agricultural land, paved to host Carnival Fete. As the song said, you pay paradise to put up a parking lot. Remember that song? Now you could go down and have breakfast and so on and whatnot. But it was this administration that took back 50 acres. But this is the 1% government, right? This same administration that actually operationalized the government campus and took rent money to the tunes of tens of millions of dollars away from the very same 1% whose pocket they're supposed to be in, the same 1% who controlling them. Now you tell me if that narrative makes sense. Just drive up Abercrombie Street. That blue glass building at the bottom of Abercrombie that used to house Customs. Where is Customs now? They have their own building in government campus. That building that they were in before has been empty for the past 5 years. The one after that used to house the Ministry of Sport, empty for the last 5 years. And the one after that used to house some department or unit of the Ministry of Education, empty. All the rent money that was paying them between 2010 to 2015 is no more. The same building that Kamla told us about, the one by Long Circular opposite the mall, you know, the yellow building there that she tell, hey, Paris building and this and that, and they paying how much rent. Wasn't it her administration that was renting that building to house the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Tertiary Education? Was it not her administration? How many leases did her administration renew with Faris's in-laws between 2010 to 2015? They had any issue with that? You know what Munilal say? Well, Faris wasn't in government that time, so it was okay. It was okay. He wasn't a minister then. He was in the opposition, so that was all right. So we had no problems. They paid him the same money that he getting now when we were in office because he wasn't in government. But now that he's in government, we have an issue with it. And the literati lapping that up, and lapping it up. I want to talk about achievements. What achievements? They paved a whole set of roads in 2015, and 2 years later in 2017, all the roads needed repaving. Did you get value for money? 2 years? That's where your money spent. $1.1 million to buy all-inclusive Fed tickets to attend the South Cancer Fed. How many of you members of the UNC literati who always defending Kamla, you all got any of those tickets to attend the Fed? Who got it? But you want to talk about achievements. Really? Kamla built one hospital, one, with the highest energy revenues in the country's history. But not one dime of those revenues was used to build that hospital. She borrowed $1 billion from the Chinese. Which government had to pay it back? How many other projects did they borrow money to build? And this administration has to find the money to pay it back. You tell me. And then you'll want to know where the money gone. Where the money gone? Talking about the money that was withdrawn from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. Always running your mouth about the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. The only reason why Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the People's Partnership didn't withdraw any money from the HSF fund was because the law prevented them from doing so. There were specific conditions in the law which would allow the government to make a withdrawal. And that is if the, based on the projected revenues from energy, that if actual revenues received from the energy sector fell, if there was a deficit of 10% or more in the deficit, then they could make a withdrawal. But because of all the money that they were getting at the time, they couldn't withdraw because there was not that 10% deficit or more. And the law was pellucidly clear on how much you could withdraw. Even if that condition was satisfied, there were limits as to how much you could withdraw. But they couldn't. The law prevented them from raiding that too. But today, they're talking about, oh, this government only raiding the HSF fund. But in their manifesto for the 2020 general election, it clearly says that if they had won the election, that they were going to come in and withdraw the interest portion of the HSF fund to pay debts. That is what they said in their manifesto. UNC Literati, if you were fortunate enough to get a copy, but it's online too. Go on the UNC page and you'll see it. It is there that they had planned to withdraw from the HSF fund, and the majority of the monies in the HSF fund right now has come from interest. So they would have been looking to take out far more than this administration has taken out. And why is it called the stabilization fund? You all know what stabilization means? Do you? Exactly what is taking place now. You can make withdrawals to stabilize government's revenues when there is a shortfall. Because this government has not been so fortunate to earn over $100 per barrel of oil as Kamala had. And the $5+ for MMBTU of natural gas, right? We didn't have that. This administration doesn't have that benefit. So that after 4 years of this administration, from 2015 to 2019, $202 billion spent, and $185 billion of that went to paying transfers and subsidies, wages and salaries. But you all want to know where the money went? All the money that they withdraw from the HSF fund, where it went? You for real? All of you all who got your tax returns that you were clamoring for, that you filed your tax returns since 2018 and 2019 and I ain't get my money yet. When you got the checks in April last year, did you ask where the money come from? When the minister said that persons who have tax returns 20,000 and under would receive their monies. Oh, you were happy when the check came in the mail, right? You weren't studying where the money came from then. But now you want to know where the money gone. All the persons who got VAT refunds and all of these things, so that they wouldn't have to send people home. That was the purpose of it. The government gave them their VAT refunds. Look. So instead of you having to rotate workers or tell people to go home or shut down your business, look your VAT returns, so that could help to assist in while there's the downturn in the economy. But like the members of the literati totally missed that part. When they were reading the story, all of a sudden as they reached that part, they get cataract and glaucoma. So they only went down to the other parts. All of the persons who received their grants, their salary relief grant and their rent grant. Remember at one point in time, Facebook flooded with complaints. They're still waiting on the grant. When they get it, how many of them came online and said, I get it, you know? How many of them did a live to say, hey, look, I get the money, it's in my account? That's always the case. Always the case. But I could continue on that, but I wanted to touch on something else. This issue of the vaccines, right? And all who beating up the government about, the government was lackadaisical and they fall down with this vaccine thing and they should have ordered vaccines from India. The Prime Minister has made it pellucidly clear that the government was waiting until the vaccine that is being produced in India got World Health Organization approval. It's not just simply, hey, where have vaccine by? Hey, India have by. Okay. How much we could get? Because if they had done so, the vaccine was not approved. And it came to Trinidad, and they vaccinated citizens, and anybody died from it. The narrative would have been totally different. Totally different. And even now, I saw recently where somebody did a clip with the Prime Minister talking about that, and a member of the electorate saying, so also he ordered a set of unapproved expletive. That's what they wanted. Since the 16th of January, India started its vaccination drive, 16th of January. When did the Indian Prime Minister take the vaccine? On the 1st of March, right? A month and a half later, after millions of his countrymen had gotten the vaccine and he showed everything okay, he went and take it. Okay, all right. Let me just read this here for you, right? This is an article in a publication called Quartz India. And it's entitled, Waiting and Watching. India's COVID-19 vaccine rollout needs to address hesitancy to truly take off. India has kicked off the world's largest COVID-19 vaccination program, but the shadow of the rushed approval persists. Hesitancy over the safety and efficacy of Covaxin, India's homegrown coronavirus vaccine, developed by biotechnology firm Bharat Biotech and the Indian Council of Medical Research, has led to fewer people turning up for their shots. This is in India, the country where the vaccine is being made. And Indian nationals are hesitant to take it. I continue. India began its vaccination drive for frontline and healthcare workers on January 16th and has inoculated 631,417 people in 4 days. This article is from January, right? 2 vaccines, Covishield, manufactured by Serum Institute of India using the Oxford AstraZeneca's master seed, and Covaxin currently have emergency use approval in India. India will also begin exporting the Covishield vaccine today, January 20th, to neighboring nations like the Maldives and Bhutan. Of these two, Covishield was granted approval based on data from the UK drugs regulators, while India's specific bridging trial study data are still pending. Covaxin has no efficacy data because the third phase of its clinical trial is still underway. Healthcare workers have expressed concern over being administered shots of Covaxin. For instance, in Delhi's Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital, resident doctors asserted their desire to take only the Covishield vaccine instead of the Covaxin that was on offer. Such hesitancy has led to lower turnout from healthcare and frontline workers, especially in large metropolitan cities in the country. In Delhi, for instance, only 8 people were vaccinated at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, India's leading public healthcare institution, on January 18, a source-based report said. This despite AIIMS Director Randeep Guleria being among the first to take the vaccine in the country. Several senior doctors and private hospitals had advocated for the use of the vaccine on social media and elsewhere. But as of yesterday, Delhi has consistently vaccinated about half of its daily target of roughly 8,000 healthcare workers. In other parts of the world, including the US, doctors have been hesitant to take vaccines that have not yet been fully tested. Whatever is happening right now, the kind of response from we're seeing from workers listed for the vaccines, especially Covaxin, is a sign that the government has dropped the ball on the issue. India's scientific community has spoken out against rushed vaccine approvals and has questioned the government's decision, making that has questioned the government's decision-making that was based on limited facts and data. For instance, Covaxin was given clearance by India's drug regulator under clinical trial mode with no clarity on what that meant. Besides the lack of clarity on approvals, distrust is also stemming from allegations against Bharat Biotech for violating consent norms during the phase 3 recruitment. The Indian government has tried to elicit support from the World Health Organization and people like Bill Gates, but this vaccine rollout under these circumstances and conditions will go down as an unfortunate event in the history of India's COVID-19 response. Guleria of AIMS believes that this vaccine hesitancy among healthcare staff is because of the infodemic against the coronavirus vaccines in India. Initially, healthcare workers were very keen to get the vaccine, but then because of the infodemic, because of things doing the rounds on social media, because of side effects being highlighted more than what they were, it created a lot of anxiety not only among healthcare workers but also public at large. What has also not helped to build trust is the number of adverse events following immunizations that have been reported. On the 18th of January, the Indian Health Ministry had reported a total of 580 AEFIs. These included mild cases of pain on the site of the jab, nausea, headache, general fatigue, as well as serious symptoms like breathlessness and chest pain. So far, 9 cases of AEFIs have required hospitalization. None were reported after January 18th. Currently, India has less than 200,000 active COVID-19 cases, and over thrice as many people have been vaccinated. Many of us have already suffered from COVID, and hence we're not willing to take vaccines unnecessarily. We want to wait for safety and efficacy data, an unnamed doctor said. Since March, 152,718 Indians have lost their lives to the pandemic. Nandi believes that unlike the US or the UK, where cases and fatalities are on the rise, India could have waited a while before granting the approvals. After questions were raised by scientists, the government should have ideally rolled back the approval, especially since it could afford to wait given the number of cases was declining. Nandi says, India recorded its lowest number of fresh COVID-19 cases in 7 months yesterday, which was January 19th. A few more weeks, and the availability of the efficacy data could have avoided this whole situation. Others have argued that this vaccine rollout comes at an appropriate time, allowing large sections of the population to build immunity. Vaccination is necessary because you do not know when a second wave can potentially start, and various other countries have witnessed a second and third wave with severe cases or more infectious strain. Public Health Foundation of India President Reddy told the Times of India newspaper. So we are seeing that back in January there were concerns. Concerns not just from the ordinary citizens in India, but from scientists and other officials, health officials as well, with respect to the rushed approval for the vaccine. But the UNC is telling us that the government should have done like Barbados and ordered the vaccine since then. To hell with approvals from the WHO. To hell with efficacy data. We don't want to just bring the damn vaccine here and inoculate the people now, man. Just bring it. Just like open the borders. We hope that the government is going to open the borders in time for the general election so that citizens who are outside could come in and vote. Remember that? Open the bars. The bar owners are suffering. Punching and lime. Remember that? Why should I have to go to the grocery to buy punching when I could go to the bar? Come on. That's the responsibility of the government in waiting. That's how responsible they are. Right? Talk about, and they continue. Every other country in the Caribbean has gotten vaccines except Trinidad and Tobago. Really? Where did you get that info from? The Prime Minister was irresponsible. He should have been the first one to take the vaccine to demonstrate leadership, to show the people that the vaccine was good to take. Can you tell me when did the Prime Minister of Dominica take his vaccine? Please, I'd love to see a clip. Any story you can tell me? Now, I know the Prime Minister of Barbados took a vaccine back in January, but it wasn't from India. No. She and 2 other ministers from her government were vaccinated. And when the members of the media tried to find out, well, where did the vaccine come from? Which of the vaccine? Is it AstraZeneca? Is it Moderna? No information was forthcoming. Despite their best efforts to get information from the Office of the Prime Minister, to get information from the Ministry of Health, they were not told where the vaccine came from that was used to inoculate Mia Motley. Up to now, they have no idea, no clue where it came from. Right? But beat up on the government because we want Mia Motley. Imagine Rodney Charles saying that Trinidad and Tobago needs a Prime Minister like Mia Motley. Not one like Kamala, you know. No. Need one like Mia Motley. What an insult to Mrs. Prasad Bisesa. The man said it on more than one occasion. So he doesn't even have confidence in Kamala to lead this country as a Prime Minister. He prefers Mia Motley. Imagine that. But they want to tell us Kamala was the best Prime Minister. Right. Look what's happening in Jamaica. The Jamaican government took the same approach as Trinidad and Tobago to wait until the Indian vaccine got WHO approval before ordering it to inoculate their citizenry, right? So, contrary to what the UNC telling you, the foolishness that they're telling you, forget that. That all the other countries in the Caribbean had ordered vaccines from India, and all of them get. Nonsense. Other than Dominica and Barbados, none of the others have received their vaccine as yet, right? But I mentioned Jamaica, because right now, Jamaica has the highest number of cases in the Caribbean. Over 23,000 persons in Jamaica have gotten COVID. They have the highest number of deaths. I think the last figure I saw yesterday was 455 deaths. Jamaica has been recording deaths every day for the last 4 weeks. Every single day, people die. And I think yesterday, 7 persons died. There were 547 new cases yesterday, which is probably the highest they've experienced in one day since the pandemic would have started. The highest, right? Their active case count right now is over 10,000 persons in more than half the total number of persons who were infected. Right now, the total number of active cases is more than half the total number of infected persons, right? Over 10,000. What's our active case count? 97 as of yesterday. So in other words, 97 persons still have the COVID. 97. Now, who knows, the number might go up today, but every day persons are being discharged, persons are being certified as having fully recovered without any vaccine. So this government has managed, and you want to talk about achievement, they have managed to keep the numbers low. 7,700 persons, total cases, 139 deaths, right? As opposed to 23,000. At one time, Jamaica was behind us. You all remember that? In deaths and in the total number of cases. Today, they have the highest number in the Caribbean. And they didn't order the vaccines yet. They've ordered now. Because guess what? The people in Jamaica want to jump down Andrew Holness' throat to tell him he should have ordered the vaccines before. So they have no regard for the precautions that the Prime Minister was taking for their own well-being. But if he had ordered it and anything went wrong, same as Trinidad, totally different case. But you see, in Jamaica, as I said, their situation is different to ours. Without a vaccine, our government has been able to manage this thing very well. And when, as a government, you could get complimented by Fazir Mohammed, it says a lot, eh? It says a lot. Let me see if I could pull this up here, because I was trying to play it off of my laptop, but for some reason, and again, through to the internet. So let me see if I get this here. I'll have to play it through the app. So hold on. See if I play it through here.
Barbados, their number of deaths stands at 33. Total number of cases 3,068. Recovered 2,407. Barbados' population is about 295,000. So comparatively, Trinidad and Tobago is doing much, much better than Barbados as far as managing the COVID-19 situation. So it is, again, typical UNC propaganda that you are peddling this morning.
That was Fazir talking to Kirk Mehu, telling him you're peddling UNC propaganda. Facts is fact. What is this thirst for this vaccine? We have the situation managed here. And the reality is, and I am willing to bet, that when you see the vaccine start rolling in, you're going to see Minister Dayal Singh is going to have to come one morning at one of those COVID-19 press briefings that they have, begging citizens, please go and take the vaccine. You'll see. I have lost count of how many people I have seen, comments I've read on Facebook with people saying they're not going to take any vaccine. It could be who, it could be what, they're not taking it. I saw an entertainer, his name is Jamel the Entertainer, I think. He did a video on Facebook stating why he's not taking the vaccine. The first reason he gave is because he doesn't need it. He said since this COVID-19 pandemic started, he has not felt sick one day. And therefore he's of the view he don't need any vaccine because he's okay. And then he goes on to say that would you go and take a vaccine for or take medication for HIV if you don't have it? So if you don't have it, you don't need to take any medication. Then he plays a video with Bill Gates from 2011. He was doing some TED Talk or something where he was talking about population control and whatnot. Then he speaks about Bill Gates being one of the largest benefactors to the World Health Organization, and that perhaps this vaccine is probably a way for Bill Gates to fulfill his ambition to reduce population, all kind of thing. There are a number of conspiracy theories we hear about. It's the end times and the mark of the beast, and maybe this vaccine is how they're going to put the chip, implant the chip in you, all kind of things. So there are people who are listening, people who are going online, and there is no shortage of conspiracy theories on social media. We hear about somebody take the vaccine and then a week later they died. I think they were attributing that the late Chief Justice Sat Sharma, his son, died a few weeks ago, and it was reported that he had taken the vaccine. He was a surgeon in Ireland or something. He took the vaccine, and then a week later, he died. Now, I would have gone to school with Keshav. We were in the same year group in St. Mary's College. But I know that is not the story, but I'm not at liberty to speak about that situation. But I could tell you it wasn't the vaccine. But there are people who will latch on to things like these as a valid excuse not to take it. So as I am saying, with all the hullabaloo and all the thirst and the desire and the commotion that we want the vaccine and when we're going to get it, half of the people who call in for it have absolutely no intentions of going and take any vaccine. Because you know what they're telling themselves? If the rest of the population vaccinated, then why do I need to take it? Because if everybody else take it, they can't get the COVID, so I don't have to worry. I can't get it from anybody if they inoculated and if they are immune to it. That's the mindset. Because look, just a couple weeks ago, when we had the issue with the yellow fever with monkeys probably from being brought in from Venezuela, and some dead monkeys, when it is they did the necropsy and found evidence of yellow fever, and the ministry was urging people to go and take the yellow fever shot. How many people went and take it? How many? Just last year, when the minister was encouraging people, we have how many thousands or tens of thousands of doses of the flu shot. Please go and take your flu shot. How many people went and take it? If you all forget where we live in, Trinidad, the remedy for everything is puncheon and lime. Puncheon and honey. Zeba peak. Babash. Yeah, that's the cure for the be-all and end-all cure for everything, all health ailments. Just take that. Take a little puncheon. Every now and again and you're good to go. A lie? but they want vaccine and they want vaccine. Now they're talking about, and again, as I said, the story and the headline, I think, is the Express today with respect to this merger or this buyout with Agostini and Oscar Francois. Now they're saying, you see, that's why the government didn't want to buy the vaccine from India. They was waiting for that. I tell all here, they're going to give the 1% friendly contract to bring in the vaccine. You're going to get it. Don't say I didn't tell you all, eh? It come in very soon. This whole week, that's going to be the topic on social media for the rest of this week. That they did that so that they could fatten the pockets of the 1% friends and family members. But that is the situation in Trinidad. Now, I know it have some of you all just itching to call in to add to the list of achievements of the PNM. Or, you know, you could just give your comments in general. So I will open the lines now and take your calls. Because there's a lot more that I could say, but I want to give you all the time to see what you have to say. So we'll probably be able to take maybe about 2 or 3 calls before the ads come up. So please keep it tight, keep it brief, so that everybody can have an opportunity. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my financial guru. Boy, if it was close, I hug you and kiss you, I carry for lunch. I don't know how to pay for this one.
Yes.
Thank you very much. But you know one thing? All of that Mr. Manning was doing in 2007, 2008. The world, financial America was in a financial crunch.
Correct.
And I want you to understand, we have a man, everybody making noise about DSS, and the government should let DSS run. You remember what was the cause of that financial crunch in America?
Yep.
A man named Murdoch, Stanford, and what was even another one name? Right? And one of them killed their own self. So, the DSS is just a copy of what transpired there. So thank you very much, Dominic. So I wonder who in the debate now. Enjoy your morning, my brother, and all the best.
You too, sir. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
I wish those UNC people take that vaccine, you know, all of them pass. Right, all of them go where they come from. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good morning.
I have a lot to say. I'll probably call after, but just to let you know.
Yes.
That it is very informative. Your information is very informative and so on. But I just want to say that when people talking about corruption in the PNM, I have no problem with that, you know. What my problem is this. People talk about O'Halloran, Privat, and more recently called the Heart. But people must be honest. And because of my age, I have a certain information base that many of your callers wouldn't have. I don't mind if you call O'Halloran and Privat, you know, but don't leave out Kamal and Errol. Don't leave out those two. And I could give you chapter and verse. See, people talk about O'Halloran and the gas station racket and things, but I don't have time right now before the ads to give you some information that I would really like to share with you. And it's the level of vulgarity and intellectual dishonesty that people peddle, that they only call O'Halloran and Privat. Why not Kamal? Why did the UNC not mention Kamal and Errol? Why they don't mention Kamal and Errol? Why they don't talk about the Buffalipso scandal involving the Ministry of Agriculture, late 60s, early 70s, that hybridization of the dairy industry? Who was the Minister of Agriculture at the time? Well, we know. Kamal. Eric Williams took a speech from him from then until he died in 1981. Errol Mahabir, the fix-it man, negotiations, government to government contracts, so they said, Wimpy, Japanese garden. There's a lot that I have to share. So when you're talking about corruption, don't limit it to O'Halloran and Privat. And that is why neither Errol Mahabir nor Kamal was made Prime Minister when Eric died, because even within PNM, they knew that those fellows were heavily tainted by allegations of corruption. Of course, the Indians in Trinidad put it down to race. And it's not race. It's not race. It's that they were as heavily tainted from a corrupt standpoint as O'Halloran and Privat. And that's why it wasn't racial prejudice. Because Franklin Cam is the chairman of PNM,
and all these kinds of things. So, but I will have to call back. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I look forward to your call back, because that's a perspective that we've not really heard before or articulated. So I look forward to that. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Dominic again.
Hey, Manu.
Well, all you see, and this line 0081. We get it loud and video, but apparently the other numbers we cannot hear the people calling properly. Maybe you can hear them on the phone in your ears, but we're not hearing them properly. So I don't know if you can do something to those lines.
You're not hearing them on the radio?
Anyway, thank you for that information there from the last caller.
Yes.
That is exactly correct. When Kamal and they quarrel and they fuss and they cuss when they made Chambers the Prime Minister, because Kamal wasn't made Prime Minister. And it's all things that because they were tainted. They were tainted. Look how much people in charge of things in PNM, and nobody calling about that. The Minister of Health. Look at you right there, the chairman, and things like that. Why these people have to bring everything to race? We're not that we'll be looking at justice and building this nation properly for all who live there. Each and every race find an equal place here. Who don't want to find it because they're not getting easier on the racket? Well, as the man says, take a bundle and go. You understand? We under a justice kind of something here, we rule in this country under honesty. Who minister here since this government come into power under any kind of racket at all, any kind of thing? Come on, people. Let's build a nation here. Come on. Thank you. Love.
Thank you, Mano. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of people saying that they're not hearing the callers, that is. So let me see what's going on here, boy. And I see that the ads are coming up. All right, so callers, I see the phones are ringing, but let me see if we can get this situation sorted out. We go into the ads, and when we come back, I will continue to take your calls as soon as we come back in. The next hour is yours. So let me see here. Right.
I feel it when I'm a woman. And I go when I'm a woman, no. I feel it when I'm a woman. And I go when I'm a woman, no. I feel it when I'm a woman. And I go when I'm a woman, no. I feel it when I'm a woman. And I go when I'm a woman, no. All I bitching, job inside the kitchen. With us sticking, saltfish licking, the clock ticking, pot start betting, I set a back flicking, girlfriend tripping. What you looking for? What going on there? Why you look so? Alright, let me go. You feel weird now? Say no more. Hold it. The people hunting, the people hunting, moving toasty, everybody hunting. The people hunting, the people hunting, moving toasty, everybody hunting. Tell me why you're beating, that's your mother. Why you're raping, that's your daughter. Tell me why you're killing woman, that's your sister. Tell me why you're abusing woman, your grandmother. Tell me why you're beating woman, that's your mother. Tell me why you're raping woman, that's your daughter. Tell me why you're killing woman, that's your sister. Tell me why you're abusing woman, your grandmother. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against all women. You're supposed to love woman, not to rape and kill woman. You're supposed to love woman. Real men know that mistreating them daddy right. Tell me who's your mother? A woman. Your wife and your daughter? A woman. Women are your sisters? A woman. Your aunt and grandmothers? A woman. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against a woman. You're supposed to love woman, not to rape and kill woman. You're supposed to love woman and not to abuse woman. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against a woman. Real men go beat woman. Real men go love woman. Real men respect woman. Real men protect woman. Stop the violence against the woman. Stop the violence against a woman. I'm ashamed to tell you as man. When I see the way some men abuse woman, who did wipe your booty when you was a baby, who guide and protect we when we father leave we. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against a woman. You're supposed to love woman, not to rape and kill woman. You're supposed to love woman and not to abuse woman. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against a woman. Real men do beat woman. Real men do love woman. Real men respect woman. Real men protect woman. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against a woman. A woman is God's special present to man. Without she, tell me who go make your children. When she first conceived you, she could have aborted you. Now you turn a big man. You're beating up woman. Stop the violence against the woman. Stop the violence against a woman. You're supposed to love woman, not to rape and kill woman. You're supposed to love woman and not to abuse woman. Stop the violence against the woman. Stop the violence against a woman. Real men do beat woman. Real men do love woman. Real men respect woman. Real men protect woman. Stop the violence against the woman. Stop the violence against a woman. Tell me why you're beating woman. That's your mother. Tell me why you're raping woman. That's your daughter. Tell me why you're killing woman. That's your sister. Tell me why you're abusing woman. Your grandmother. Stop the violence against the woman. Stop the violence against a woman. Stop the violence.
Dedicated to our hard-working nurses, Alternative International Comedy Festival. 2 North-South Super Shows. 200 nurses will receive complimentary VIP tickets to laugh non-stop by public demand, returning to Naparima Bowl, Saturday, March 13th, 7 p.m. and Sunday, 14th March, Port of Spain, Napa, 5 p.m. On stage, the nation's funniest stand-up comedians and dramatists. All the bacchanal and drama you want. 2 persons on 1 general ticket. Single tickets also available at Napa Box Office and selected JTA and Extra Food supermarkets. TicketGateway.com, Bellini's Drug Mart, Sutton Street, San Fernando. All health protocols will be in effect. For more info, call 774-5555.
Dad, I meet a real nice boy, and he wants to marry me.
Daughter, you working anywhere you could mind you?
He working in the oil.
You working Petrotrin?
No, Dad, he does fry pylori.
This is Isasha with a message from the North Central Regional Health Authority. Wear your mask, yeah. Don't you know your mask will save your life, yeah. So I'm warning my people now. Make sure you're off it when you're stepping outside, yeah. Since COVID come, we have so much restrictions. This pandemic have the place under lockdown. The new normal mask and sanitization. We got to follow COVID safety regulations. So wash your hands, people, please sanitize. The virus could infect you through your nose, mouth, and eyes. And social distancing could save your life, but make sure and wear your mask. Please take my advice, yeah. Don't you know your mask will save your life, yeah. So I'm warning my people now. Make sure you have it when you're stepping outside, yeah. Don't you know your mask will save your life, yeah. Cause COVID-19 is dangerous. Wear your mask, let's do this thing right, yeah. This is a message to the country from the North Central Regional Health Authority, yeah. Wear your mask.
Hi, what's up, TNT? This is Wayne Johnson out of Brooklyn, New York. I always wanted to do something back home, and we're going to be doing our gospel segment on Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM. Listen what I want you to do. Spread the word. Spread the word, TNT.
Salvation, full and free. Salvation is for everybody.
Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM.
The Archdiocese of the West Indian United Spiritual Baptist Sacred Order, Inc., with Bishop Patrick Roberts and the New Jerusalem Church of Jesus Christ. He and his diocese would be on IWER stage on Wednesday, the 10th of March, 2021, from 6 p.m. This is the 70th anniversary of the repeal of the Draconian Prohibition Ordinance of 1917, and the theme is Fulfilling Our Spiritual Liberation. His Eminence, Patriarch Dr. Stephen F. Julian, His Grace, Archbishop W. Leon John, and King Shepherd Ray M.S. Brathwaite.
Are you tired of going place to place with no real solutions for your health concerns? Look no further and let our team at Louis Herbal Health Clinic take care of you with our amazing specials. Now offering iridology scanning, where we utilize a microscopic camera to detect hypertension, liver damage, a weakened immune system, and so much more issues in the body through the eyes. Iridology scanning is 100% safe and pain-free. Also available is our advanced 3D head-to-toe body scanning using the biophilia tracker, a one-of-a-kind radiation-free device used to detect all chronic diseases, disorders, and inflammation in the body in just under 1 hour. Free consultation with any service and the same-day results available. We are located on number 18 Parakeet Street, Tacarigua. To book, call or WhatsApp Shanice today at 278-1661 or find us on Facebook at Louis Herbal TT for more information.
You juice. How about me drink me got a natural boost? Ginger, lime, and turmeric. Give away every sickness. Get a bottle of this real spice. Girl, tea choice in your life. And let me drink up the juice. And let me drink up the thing from the roots. And let me drink up the thing from the fruits. The you juice. En route to the ultimate you.
When you text on the Street 919 FM, you can win weekly fabulous prizes. Text to win. Using your B-Mobile or Digicel handset, text your name to 9191, which allows you to win. One winner will be selected every Friday at 5 p.m. Listen, text, and win. You can also view live streams on Facebook at The Street 919 FM and YouTube at The Street 919 FM. Text to win on The Street 919 FM.
At Health and Wealth Lifestyle, we offer a wide range of services: blood analysis, iridology, acupuncture, foot detox, foot massages, gua sha, hot stone therapy, fire therapy, legs and feet massage therapy, mineral scrubs, acrotherapy, cupping.
We also have a wide variety of supplements: silver, zinc and magnesium, body light, and lots more.
We at Health and Wealth Lifestyle operate our business in a clean, safe, and comfortable environment. We frequently sanitize our compound and abide by all the COVID guidelines that are currently in place.
So come on down to Health and Wealth Lifestyle, where we treat you like family. Book your appointment today. Call us at 1-868-275-8359
or 1-868-288-1108.
And remember, your health is your wealth, and prevention is always better than medication.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
And welcome back. We continue to take your calls. Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, sorry.
Dominic? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, Dominic? Hello?
Yes, sir, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Okay, good. Yes, as I was saying, it's about 10 minutes before midday. You see, many people in Trinidad, especially people who are insecure and whose analyses are circumscribed by and driven purely by race and racial consideration. And that's where you get the intellectual dishonesty and myopia in this country. As I was saying, and what I'm about to tell you would bear out what I was trying to tell you before midday. Do you know, yes, as I said, the Indo community in Trinidad have put down the non-appointment of Kamal and Errol to the prime minister, to be the new prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago when Eric Williams died. They have reduced it purely to race. And let me give you the evidence. In the wake of Eric Williams' death, a biography of Kamaluddin Mohammed was written by no less a person, Dominic, no less a person, you can go and check it out, than Hamid Alfredo Ghani, professor at UWE. And if you read that, it is laced with racial insinuation, racial insecurity, and all the other negatives, making the very clear point that Kamal was overlooked because he's an Indian. He's an Indian. But forgetting to mention and completely ignoring the fact that from an objective standpoint, just as with O'Halloran, Eric shielded Kamal and Errol for many, many years. He shielded Kamal and Errol for many, many years. Right? And, well, Indo-Trinidad wouldn't want to acknowledge that at all, but people who are of a certain generation cohort and who have the institutional knowledge and memory, who could go back 40, 50 years easily and give you these perspectives. Somebody like Padmore, they will tell you that it was because of serious questions about these fellas' ethics that they were not considered to be the new prime minister. You see, by the time Eric died, there was a perspective in the TNM that we wanted to rid the party of the specter of O'Halloran and Privat. But then Kamal and Errol were right there in the background with allegations, serious allegations of corruption being leveled against them. And when Ellis Clark consulted with the higher-ups in the party, they realized that this would merely be a prolongation of the O'Halloran and Privat era by putting either Kamal or Errol. In other words, bottom line, you're replacing one thief with another thief. And that is why they both were overlooked for the new job. And why I think they picked Chambers? Because he was untainted. Chambers never had anything about corruption against his name. And while he may have been junior to Kamal, he was less controversial. He attracted less questions of impropriety towards his name
That is why he was chosen. But I don't want to hog the station for too long, just to let you know that for people who are wronged in those days, 40, 50 years ago, we know better about why those two characters, neither one was picked to replace Eric Williams. And just to close off, I am not denying that O'Halloran and Privat stole money, but in the interest of honesty, intellectual dishonesty, and the truth, let's corral the big four. O'Halloran, Privat, Kamal, and Beryl. Good afternoon, Dominic. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Wow. A new perspective. Hopefully we'll hear more of that, eh? Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dominic.
Yes, ma'am, good afternoon.
Fire this morning. And continue that fire, continue that information. Because they could only call two names under the PLM of corruption. But how much they could call under the UNC? They ain't watching the leader cut on. So I don't know what they're talking. You're talking about 2 months and 3 months. In less than a year, she gave herself still. The biggest house was the leader with the biggest house is Mrs. Kamala Prasad Vitata. Would them to talk about Mr. Dominic? Mr. Dominic, you ever see the PNM pass a law to sue the friend? The financiers? But them talking about 1%. The law was passed to sue the friend, Section 34. Even people allege that when they came into power, the lawyers was changed under that case. Then a missing file was found in the particular attorney office who was working, and then he come as senator. What them can talk about corruption, the 1% that they are speaking about is all about race and anarchy in the country. It had nothing to do with really 1% conversation. That have you enraged. That have you going mad. That see if they could get 1 or 2 of them to go into and do madness. 1 or 2 are the illiterate. But it had nothing to do with no 1%. Because if you analyze, look at the kind of lucrative land deals, $1 a month, plus there was a rent this car park for $800,000 back to the government. That was the negotiation under Mrs. Kamala Prasad Vitata. When one of them carried them to court, the government to court for the Sandy Grady Highway, she praised them. She never criticized it. What is wrong with them? Mr. Dr. Rowley built 5 hospitals for $2 billion. Mrs. Kamala Prasad Vitata built 1 for 1.2. $400 million of that in consultants. Legal fees. $400 million in legal fees. So much money people are spending legal fees to build a building, Mr. Dominic?
Under the PP, yes.
Yes. The Arima Hospital, whatever she turned sword, was over $500 million to build that. The government come and build it for $200 million. The overpass, same thing. $500 million plus. We come and build it for $200 million. What some of them will be talking about, the people who is at a no-vote campaign. That's a no-vote campaign, but only entertaining UNC callers. And black talk. But I want to tell you something. You see that building between Duke and Charlotte Street? Go and see who renting it. Go and see who own it. I don't know what's wrong with them. You see some of them just only want to propaganda. If you have propaganda talk, I talk to that UNC person. Dr. Rowley and them wicked. The higher wearing mask. What else? It had no corona. It's because if one person gets it in the house, you don't get it. Anything to put you in danger, that's the UNC. So the higher with the 1% talk, next thing they set up 1 or 2 are we illiterate to do something stupid. And when you're done, they ain't telling other people, when they go in and march and they go in and do this and they go in and do that, count how much people of East Indian descent under the UNC. Let's go and march, let's go and protest. Let's climb table, let's make yourself stupid, put up a video. Ask yourself, how much of them just do that? Watch yourself. When they had the Black Lives Matter march, how many Indian people they see with guns in hand? all they're doing is using you. And when they're done, you alone make jail. Let me tell you one of the success of the UNC. $400 million in life support. And the head of that program in the jail for over 10 years. He was a legal aid lawyer and he gets so much. That what they said I get? That what you want? You get? How come you still want, Mr. Dominic? Them don't want? The SIS, they wanted to create their own 1% under SIS. You must tell us how many billions of dollars one person gets in in all those contracts. He was in CPEP. There was nothing for the layman under the UNC. Even food cards was given to the rich. Would them could tell you $1.2 billion. Which contractor could sit down and tell you that the government paid them a fair contract and it didn't complete? $7 billion for the important highway and it didn't reach halfway yet. They signed away $2 billion to OAS as the same Stuart Young. They have all kind of names to call. Use his expertise and went to court and bring back those $2 billion. What could they tell the people today? Where is Krishna Lala? You refurbish, you're talking about IWER, you refurbish that same building for $125 million. Spend $45 million to rent it, plus $5 million in security, and she hasn't spent a day in it. You feel there's only one building, Mrs. Kamala Pasabi, that did that too? Or one person achieved that? We have to get realistic. Some of them want corruption, and all they just want to collect $2,000-$3,000 in all their pockets, and all they're still hungry. They're not hungry. Them don't want. You don't see them with no legal aid lawyer. You see them with Queen's Council and Senior Council. So forget them. And I'm glad how we forget them. We ain't laugh at the march yet. We're watching. You have to stay home. We had to get kicks off of here because nobody's studying them. All of the other unions are them silent because nobody not listening to them no more. Because we have seen who they are. And what they want, all they want is money in the pocket. None of them did anything under labor when they come under Mrs. Kamala Prasad. None of them. Not if my bill has passed, the runoff bill was a part of the set. The cells, not only that, you know. One more point, all the bills she talk about crime, all the bills she passed, Mr. Dominic, if you did do your research, as soon as she come out of power, it had an expiry date. That is how the UNC run the government. It's only until they leave power, the laws and them was active for 3 months after, 6 months after. If so much. They don't care about you. They're talking about crime and want to march and form any group and move everything pertaining to security. Look, the 1%, or they don't study that conversation. Mrs. Kamala have tried to create her own 1%, and I want to ask all their pertinent questions many people don't ask. When last you see the UNC raise funds, the PNM does raise funds, you know. When last you see the PDP raise funds, ask all yourself who more corrupt and who in corruption. The UNC haven't raised funds as far as I calculate for the past 20 years. Do your research. I'm out, Mr. Dominic. Mr. Dominic, one thing I want to ask you, if you can WhatsApp this number because I'm interested to do business with you. So I would like you to WhatsApp this number. You'll have about 2 clients coming from me.
Thank you.
Have a great.
You too.
Good afternoon, Dominic. Good afternoon, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Yes, brother. Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah. All right. Let me just start. I get through up there with the, all right, with the senior that called. You see, right, we got to be honest in this because Dominic, you forgot the contract with the desal plant under Basio Panda that they renew, that the minister spoke about yesterday with the Salcott, with a famous contractor.
Hafiz Karamath?
Yes, 50 million US every month. Nothing TT US. Right? Right? Something for you to get on. And they, all these things that's angry with the PNM for. They had all these things to tell people and they won't tell the people. I want to go back. You see, there's a lie and a narrative that has been spread through the East Indian community. Who are my friends? And a lot of them have been good to me. From their parents, their grandparents come down.
about the corruption in the PNM. Professor Ferdy Ferreira told us that corruption didn't start with the PNM, with O'Halloran and Privat, but they always jumped to that. It started with the Soros Dam with Albert Gomes as the governor. You know that, Dominic?
Yeah.
So corruption didn't start with no PNM. No. The racial undertone is that Tony and Sandra have been propagating on the program year after year. I was listening to the program with Sir Ellis Clark when they were in Valsine that Trinidad was ready for Indian Prime Minister. When Ellis Clark told them that. Ellis Clark was a part, well, he was prominent. He was part of the Constitution and stuff, very close to Eric Williams. And they keep pushing this narrative. But in 81, Professor Ferreira, they know the whole PNM, when Dr. Eric Williams died, were alleged were tainted. When Hugh Francis stood up and was responding to a heckler that all are we thief. They don't ever talk about Buffalo Soul. They don't ever talk about the lock joint racket. They keep talking about these two white men. Now, Trinidad don't know, the young people don't know, O'Halloran and Privat were two white men. Dominic, you know that, right? The Jill Miles racket as well.
Yes.
Right? They never told, so they keep leaving out and just using the racial undertone to the children for 30, 40 years. PNM didn't want no Indian Prime Minister, and Errol was the senior, Kamal was the senior to Eric to take the throne. But when the PNM looked around to send the paper to the President's house, at that time, Professor Ferdy Ferreira, they knows it, but they won't tell people. They allow the narrative to continue. You see the black elites in the PNM out of the PNM. We have to be honest. They have a weakness. I born in Woodbrook and St. James, and I was told a lot of the stories. They can't fool me. Right? And just not to offend, you know, the good governance, and at the end of the day, PNM is a rally for all. They don't want to offend the better half. And they keep pushing this narrative that it wasn't ready for Indian Prime Minister, and that they didn't want to make Mohammed Prime Minister. But the cleanest man in the pack was George Michael Chambers. But they remove it and put a racial connotation to it, which the black elites in the PNM have lived and don't want to respond to the East Indian Hindu community, that it had nothing to do, primary consideration with race, is that everybody in that Dr. Eric Williams' cabinet were perceived to be corrupt. And the only clean man was George Michael Chambers. And that was the name they sent up to the president. But Sadra and Tony, they know. Find out how Mohammedville was born. Find out how privileged Sadra and them live. So that is why they one carry on a TV that he's better than everybody, and Sadra, all of them have this attitude that they are elite Indians and they're better than everybody. And find out the reason why. But they keep pushing this narrative that PNM won't worry for Indian Prime Minister, and it was only racial consideration why Mohammed was not selected. And the black elites in the PNM failed to correct it. And Professor Ferdy Ferreira knows that. But for one reason, one say, then they come back now. The PNM never had a Hindu, and Eric Williams never had a Hindu in the cabinet for 30 years. That the next lie to the children. They keep beating up. But there were Indians in the party. There were Errol and there were Mahavir in the party for years. Right, senior? What I want to ask the Hindu brothers and sisters in the Indian population, were they a Baptist in Eric Williams' cabinet? The Baptist religion were the most scorned at, most scoffed at, most discriminated against. And a lot, and there were strong rumors that one of the spiritual mothers to Dr. Eric Williams was a Baptist. Were any Baptist in the cabinet of Eric
I better leave it for the ad.
The Royal Castle Soca Shot on the Street 919. Thinking of what to have for lunch or dinner? Here's a meal tip from Royal Castle. If you feel like having something different for lunch or dinner today, then we have fantastic fish meals too. Get the fish combo of 2 succulent pieces of fish, one side and a 16-ounce soft drink. Or the fish sandwich combo of a tender, tasty sandwich, one side and a 16-ounce soft drink. The Castle uses the freshest fish with its famous enticing local seasonings, all cooked to golden perfection. So try our fantastic fish meals today. Royal Castle, our culture, our taste. That was the Royal Castle Meal Tip on the Street 919.
Royal Castle happily presents our New Year giveaway. When you buy a family meal, you could be in to win some happiness. A kitchen appliance combo of a new stove, fridge, and microwave. Whoa! A living room set, a washer-dryer combo, or a dining room set. Other goodies include Samsung Smart TVs, grocery vouchers, or one of 20 tablets. Just write your info on your bill and slip it into the entry box in store. It's easy to win with our New Year giveaway.
That was the Royal Castle Soca Shot on the Street 919.
So we're back. We continue to take your calls. 3420081 466-5391. Hello, good afternoon.
Dominic, good morning, and how are you?
I am good.
Dominic, you were so on point this month because you remember when Mr. Manning started those secondary schools, you know, all the schools that were outstanding and they're not finished, contractors were not paid. I am one of them.
Yes.
Huh? But they came in and started their own parallel school thing, right? Where they were just building schools, paying contractors money up front and they didn't do things. And we are suffering now. So Dominic, what I'm saying, I think the government should try and find some money somewhere to pay the contractor because many of us suffering. A school started in 2008 and 15 years after it not finished. The last time we were paid was 2012. So
wow.
It's really, really, really hard. And when they're ready, they're talking about this and that and the other. And Dominic, I can give you a scenario, you know, just before the elections, I had a friend who died, now maybe rest in peace. He invited me to a meeting because I told him about my money. And he said the Minister of Finance, that was Larry Hawaii, and so on, so be there. And I reached there, it was accepted me. And I went and I spoke to him. And since that, before 2015, Mr. Larry Hawaii said that they didn't have any money to pay nothing. So when they want to say, oh, Dr. Rowley ain't doing anything, they let all the bills to him to pay. Right? And something else. Okay, my right.
Thank you, caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Say one more thing. I do not believe that these candlelight vigils and protests and so on are devoid of a political flavor. If you look at the cohort and the pictures, you will see a particular trend. While the entire country grieves over the tragedy, of these two young women, another woman being murdered and so on. I think the whole thing now is being prostituted because things just mushrooming with every new day. This new group. I think it has a very strong political flavor. And if you look at the front page of yesterday's Newsday, you will see two Indian women, and in the middle was Adra Bharat's father signing a petition. And on the right of what you are looking at in the newspaper, the right side, that Indian lady on the right side, she was holding a placard, and here's what it read. Here's how it read. The power of the people is stronger than the people in power. Now that is politics. That is politics. That is a rallying of forces against the government. That is what it is. That is what it is telling me. So I don't see any innocence and outright genuineness, and I think to do that would be a bit naive. I think that there's a very heavy political flavor in it. I mean, look, I think this thing is being prostituted for political gain. And personally, while I sympathize with Mr. Bharat, my own personal view is that in times of grief and tragedy, you shouldn't allow yourself to be used as a pawn in other people's political games. Let your daughter's soul rest in peace. That's how I see it. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Cola. Not to take away anything from that Andrea Barrett situation, but her death and the manner in which it occurred was unfortunate. But I'm certain that Mr. Barrett's grief isn't any worse than that of other persons who would have lost loved ones. Speaking as someone who would have lost a loved one, several loved ones in fact, but to lose a parent, it's very difficult, But on my way here this morning, I saw Mr. Barrett in his front yard watering his plants. Normal, but it benefits the organizers of this candlelight movement for them to try and continue, as Nicola said, to prostitute this whole thing and gain as much mileage out of it. And I would be very surprised if this doesn't eventually turn into a political movement. But we'll see. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
What a program. I pick you up late. Right? I enjoying the program, man.
Thank you.
A lot of information. Dominic, let me tell you something. I lived away for a number of years, right? And I always keep in contact with Trinidad, read and follow, visit home, right? The worst government we ever had in Trinidad and Tobago is the partnership. That will never happen again in Trinidad and Tobago. It's one of the most corrupted governments we have ever had. You understand? These guys, them who was in power from 2010 to 2015, all of them came to fill their pocket. They didn't come to do nothing for Trinidad and Tobago. Right, Dominic? Because Trinidad and Tobago had good credit for a number of years. The rating was a A- or something, so right? For Moody's and different organizations. You want to tell me, Dominic, you have rating like that, or a price of $100 a barrel, and you build a highway straight from your treasury, and you could get credit through the IDB bank to build that highway, and you sign a clause that if the contractor leaves, you can't sue them. That is the most corrupted government Trinidad and Tobago ever had, Dominic. And I'm listening to your callers, and from the information they are giving us today, they could never win the East-West corridor. They could try Mayhew, Alexander, Asian Ishmael, Ian Allen. All of them could use the young lady death, where all of us feel sorry for, as a political football to come as the government. They will never get back in power under a partnership. Because, Dominic, when there was a partnership, they never looked for the interests of Trinidad and Tobago. They was all fighting for power among themselves. Who will be acting prime minister? Who will be on this board? Who will run the port? Who will do that? You was not looking for Trinidad and Tobago, and they will never see power again. And we on the East-West corridor should always be aware. The only way they can win a government is people from the East-West have to move. And we will keep them there. We will guard at our treasury. Okay, Dominic?
Thank
I love your program today.
Thank you.
Take care.
Right. Before I take the next call, maybe the previous caller could help me. Because despite my efforts to do research on this thing, I haven't been able to find. I see from time to time the UNC posting this thing about Eric Williams' daughter, Erica Williams Connell, offered the government back when some millions of dollars to bail them out. Some talk so about her offering the government money, and they saying that is because all the money that Eric Williams stole and he left it in her name and so on, and that's why she would. I would have been, a baby at that time, so I really don't know much about that. So if anybody can help me as to what that was about, I would appreciate it. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Brother Dominic.
Hey, Andrew.
Yes, Good afternoon. I listen to it. First thing I want to address, as a seven before, and said about UNC don't pick up don't have no drive not to pick up money and things for campaigning and things. How we could say that? When they had the treasury, Indian Prime Minister had the treasury for 5 years. You want them to come and pick up things, sell barbecue, sell all these things to pick up donation money to run the party? We had to be mad. The treasury they had, That is the advantage, When I see I have an express here with 5 Indian lawyers, millions of dollars, millions, Ramdin get it most, Ramdin get $15.5 million. Ask them where you do that, where you do to get that money. None of them couldn't answer. So I know they don't have to pick up no funds. They don't want no fund drive. You understand? Fundraising drive. And what we are saying about all of the reading about PNM and the PNM is who built this country. Everything. I born and go here, I know when all the roads was gravel road, All the roads was gravel road. The main road was pitch road, But the gravel road, all of them was gravel road. We didn't have school as we have school now. All the institutions set up in this country were set up by the People's National Movement. But you see the ungratefulness of the African people, they don't know that Kamala and fix the Indian community, They fix their life, That's the aim and the objective. They don't care what takes place in this country, They know that they fix the people. They are properly fixed with millions of dollars, $500 million missing cotton notes from the treasury. And we care nothing about that. But you have African people backing them. Kamala was the best prime minister in this country. That's what. They don't know what's best. They don't know what's best at all. You're taking the worst and call the Bible tells us about them, All the Kingsley and them who saying Kamala was the best. The Bible says beware of them, Who calling evil good and good evil. Beware of them. Keep far from them. I don't want a cup of water from them. I don't keep far from the dangers. They are false witness African people. Helping them to build the economy more and more. And you suffer, and you pour $200-$300 and you feel you're getting money. But they could do what they want. Their days are numbered. They cannot come back into power. And I want to see, you see when Ramdin and Ramlugan went to court, you see the media, how the media backing the UNC? Nothing you see about it. I hear the news, I don't buy papers, but I hear the news, they had it on page 7. Hide it away. Even a performance and a front page, and these are the days. I don't buy papers, With me, if everybody feel like that, all them excess news, all of them shut down, Because I'm not paying my money for stupidness. And we have to be real. The people just hear what they say. With that petition that they had in the square telling a whole week, I said that is a political party. When you hear the Ghostman, you hear Allen and all of them in that. That is a political party they're forming. I'm not going to no signature there. My signature is not going there. Why they do not pick up the petition and go to Kamala for that business? Seeing that the PNM bringing the laws into it's laws that the government country, not petition, Seeing that the government bringing the laws, the crime bill. Tell Kamala go and sit down and pass the laws that the police could arrest these people when they do the crime. They're not doing that, but the game they're playing with. But they don't know how far they're going with that. They can't reach nowhere that. Have a blessing, my brother.
Thank you, Andrew. Hello, good afternoon.
Dominic.
Hello.
Good afternoon again. Dominic, I never know you listen to program. I thought when you come up for I-91.9, that's it. But it's nice to hear you was listening to the program on Friday afternoon.
Yes.
That was very, very, very good. Aisha, well, good day to you. Dominic, when I listen to some of those callers from on the UNC side, you understand me? And the same one you talk about, you understand me? You know all what the government is doing and all what Kamala Bissetta. Dominic, how long it take you to know Watson Duke joined the UNC cabal? It's a long time Watson Duke joined the UNC cabal. You remember when Watson Duke did dress up like a pilot?
Yes.
You remember that? Well, right. When he dressed up like a pilot, he thought he'd take off from Trinidad to Tobago and land and win the election. You understand me? Either come be chief secretary, but no. You understand me? God don't sleep, Dominic. You understand me? You remember Pharaoh?
Yes.
Well, right. Duke is the next Pharaoh. Right now, I wonder if Duke is in Trinidad and Tobago. You're not hearing absolutely nothing but Watson Duke. Dominic, as I told you this morning, I am very much concerned about this 27 billion in suspicious transaction. I'm very much concerned about that. That's a lot of money, you know, Dominic.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money. You understand? And you notice what he wants, you know. You see, they throw the cards on the table and you see what he wants. You understand me? He wants to go and control the money in Tobago too. You understand me? Dominic, let me tell you something, eh? I don't care what they say. I am seeing back, they're going back to the poll. They're going back to the poll. I am telling you that, Dominic, you understand me?
Yes.
They have to go back to the poll. I know what I'm telling you about, but Dominic, we're looking at Watson Duke right now. You understand me? We're looking at Watson Duke right now. Well, he mightn't be able to wear no more brands again because, you know, he likes to wear brands. Anyhow, he might be able to wear brand because what it is, Blackstone?
Yes.
Right, he might be able to wear brand. Okay, Dominic.
Okay.
Pray to God, Rowling, that we don't win those 2 seats and we don't become kingmakers. I can tell you something tonight. I will make sure I dig up every single file on you and I will lock your ass up. I will lock your ass up, Rowling. These are my last words tonight. Understand that? I'm making it plain. I will hunt you down like a dog and I will lock you up tonight, Rowling.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good morning. Let me tell you something. Hello?
Yes, caller.
Yes. I work Mount Hope Hospital at the beginning. And let me tell you something. Kamal had acted. You understand?
Yeah?
The Kamal had acted in the space of Eric William. And after his action, let me tell you something. The whole Mount Hope Hospital was replaced with his kind of people. I don't want to call no names. That is the kind of thing that Kamal did. You understand? Kamal make a mess of Mount Hope Hospital.
Wow. So it seems and certainly this is something that we need to have a conversation on. The other side of it, because the focus has always been on Privat and O'Halloran, but yeah, we need to have that discussion. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, my dear Dominic.
Hi, Carol.
I just got in and I said, let me switch on.
Yes.
I hear you in full flight.
Thank you.
And, I heard when the gentleman called and they're talking about Privat and O'Halloran and so on.
Yes.
But you know, with all the talk about Privat and O'Halloran, you know, the NAR was able to go to Canada and get back money from O'Halloran's estate, I understand, from the elders. You know, they would know. They got that money, you know. That man in Panama with the money, we want our money back. We want him brought back to Trinidad and Tobago, the $1.something billion. I don't think Mr. O'Halloran went with that kind of money. Might have been peppercorn to call it what they got. And then, you know, you were talking about the boats. And you went to, where did they go to get those boats?
Was that the diamond vessels?
Besides the diamond vessel, the other one, the other boat that was there, they was supposed to go on dry dock. Oh, that had a little corruption, something, and that lady came in as the lawyer.
Right. That was the Superfast Galicia.
Right, the Galicia. You know, it reminds me of something. What's the trend? When they said bring the Galicia, we go think about that later, about repairing and all that. Right. Doesn't that remind me of something? Lock them up. Lock up all them little bad boys.
Yes.
We go find the evidence after. To slip that Doesn't that remind you of that?
Yep.
And look at the trend. Bring the Galatia. We're going to think about putting in whatever infrastructure and repairs and doing what is necessary to have a proper transportation between Trinidad and Tobago and Trinidad and vice versa. Lock up the little bad boys and them. When, they tell you a picture paints 1,000 words. When I look at it that afternoon, and those young fellas from Nelson Street and they're bawling like Mr. Singh and so on, and they're crying. Say, once they, come from the shop, herd them in to this van. It reminds me of the days of slavery. Right?
Mm-hmm.
When African people who come from a land of riches, of wealth, all the diamond and the gold and the oil, everything that you could think about, that the Europeans and the Indians and the Chinese, everybody going down in Africa to take from Africans. We come from a line of kings and queens, We're supposed to have to hold our heads high in society, in the Caribbean, in the Americas. Because we were, in these times now, they were doing that now. They were calling it human trafficking. People came here against the will. But in India, when you go to UWE library and you pull up, UWE has everything. Their economic circumstance, they were like, the caste system, the lowest caste. I don't know if they call it also vagrancy. The lowest caste in India were brought to the West Indies, right? Because Africans, it was emancipation time and they were leaving the land. And the Brits went to India and brought those people over here. So I want people of a particular era to know, we know the history. We come from a line of champions, of kings, of wealth. We were kidnapped and brought here. Your foreparents came here willingly because of their economic circumstance. So don't try to feel and to pull and all who hungry and all kind of thing. It's because of the injustice. And when those people who they kidnapped and brought to Trinidad, who were enslaved, not slave but enslaved, and who were brought here, the injustice, when they left the land, they left with nothing. And up to this day of our Lord, that's why we want our reparation. We want our, according to doctors, I want my grandfather back pay. Right? We want reparation. So we were kidnapped. Or in these terms, human trafficking took place under the Brits and the Europeans and brought us here. And all this to still down in Africa, taking out, draining out the wealth. Okay? Then you go back, you talk about Privat and O'Halloran. Now got money. So they wrote the Canadian Authority and they got money. The man who gone to Panama with our 1.something billion. We want our money. Bring it back. That we can build the economy and help all the people who are living below the poverty line. And who we can help with that money. That man be brought back here in chains. You understand? And with the Galatia. Bring the Galatia, man. We go see about anything else. Lock them up. We will find the evidence. Come on. Come on. Those people, and Dominic, are giving you some work to do. There was a man, I think it's a UWE lecturer. I think he was coming through the airport after the August 10th election, who said when he heard the PNM had won, and African people would have voted solidly for the PNM, which they needed to do. He says because of the whip. Because of the whip that they did that. So I want to tell him, his foreparents came here because they were of the lowest caste. Nobody of no high caste came to the West Indies. The lowest caste came here. So you don't try that to make people feel less than. We better than that. We come from a line of kings and queens, champions, money, wealth, okay? And was stolen by all the other nations who's still going down there. The Chinese, all of them down there, the Indians down there, the Chinese, the Europeans, even some Americans, all of them going down there. So Dominic, according to my girl, my soca singer, plump one, You plump on Dominic.
Who's that, Nadia?
Nadia. Nadia say, Roxo with your green eyes. Roxo with your, you understand? Tell all of them. The Mayhews, all those others. Right? To Roxo with the green eyes of envy and jealousy. Only Roxo. Go on. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Carol. Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, sorry.
Good morning, Dominic.
Hi, morning.
Yes. Before
Afternoon.
came in, you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah. Before CPEP came in, you remember that Dr. Eric Williams opened a youth school, industrial school, so that young people could go and learn a trade that they can live by, and it was closed down to prevent them from learning a trade. Who closed it down?
Yeah, Pandey.
And the person who was in charge of Minister of Education or somebody, who was he or she? Who was she? From what I gathered and I heard.
Yes.
Okay? So when they did that, instead of the young people go out and steal and all of that, it was good that they give them something to do to earn an honest living. And let the people and them know who close it down to prevent them from learning an electrician, to be an electrician, a plumber, or whatever it is in life. Okay, right. Then they find out who closed it down. Okay.
Thank you. So, the ads are upon us, folks. So, that's it for the calls today. Out of time, but not out of things to say. So, we'll be back in the morning at Bruce from 5 and Sharon, well, yeah. So, we'll have to continue this conversation, and of course, the issue that was raised by the caller today with respect to Mr. Kamaluddin Mohammed. Interesting perspective. It's one that is hardly ever spoken about, if at all. So it's one that we need to look into. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. As always, it's a pleasure to work with you in the on a Sunday morning. And Miss Felix should be well rested and back out tomorrow. So but of course, if you want to continue with this in the morning, you can call in, for those of you who I see still call in, but as I said, be out of time. So join us again at 5. I'm out.
Feel it when the sun comes up, even when it rains down, don't miss the magic.